Incoming transmission.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the GSL Codas. We are going to be wrapping up the round of 8. And, of course, after this, it'll be the final day of Season 2. We're going to have the round of 4 in the finals just a little bit over a week from now on Saturday.
Yeah, next Saturday in a bigger arena. But before we get there, Group B of the GSL. And I think this is going to be one of the most exciting days of the GSL.
Yeah.
All year. All Protoss and Zerg. No Terrans.
No Terrans allowed.
You guys already have Maru and Kira in the top 4. We don't need another one. But Hero, Creator, Dark, and DRG going to be the lineup today. And we're going to have a deep dive, not into just PvZ, but also a little bit of the taste of the mirror matchups, too, starting out.
Yeah, we're going to start this out with a PvP and then go to a ZVZ. And, yeah, we'll get to see what exactly PvZ is looking like after we get these mirror matchups out of the way.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. From everything that I've heard and also the games that I've seen, it seems like PvZ for the first time in a really long time might be a little bit Protoss favored, which honestly, for me, it's a little bit of a welcome change.
Sure.
But
we can look at the stats down here. It looks like a 54% vote here for Hero. We do have Creator at the lowest amount. Look, Creator, he's gone to GSL finals before. I feel like he's this guy who's been with us since the very beginning. I guess literally he has been with us since the very beginning. Has not won a GSL yet, unlike many of his peers. But I think he's still got a shot to advance today.
I wouldn't be surprised if both Hero and Creator advanced today from the GSL. And that's not because I think Dark or DRG are washed or weak right now, but Creator, his best matchup for basically his entire career has been PvZ. And his PvP also, he's not a slouch. Really just PvT is his weakness and has been for a long time.
Right.
I could see them both advancing. And guys, keep in mind, June 29th, Saturday, 5 p.m. KST. Not on Thursday and not in the typical venue.
Yeah, the finals is not in the studio that we're in right now. So it's not in the studio you're used to seeing. In fact, this studio is about an hour and a half away from where this studio is. It's on the other side of Seoul. We're over here on the southeast side of Seoul right now. This studio is deep in the west. It is where we were hosting Valorant last year, if you came to any of those events. It's going to be in Digital Media City. This one's a little bit harder to get to. I guess none of our studios are that easy to find, right? We're not like just right next to the train station. So if you're going to come to the finals, come early. Tickets go on sale tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Look, guys, tickets sell out in about under 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So you want to try to snipe a ticket. Throughout the rest of GSL, some days we have a lot of people in the audience. Other days it's pretty light, but the finals have consistently always sold out.
Even in a bigger venue like that one, it's going to sell out guaranteed within 5 minutes. So make sure that you go, get those tickets as soon as possible.
And by the way, if you are going to come, keep in mind that this is like a theater setting, so there's seats. So we can't really bend the rules and get extra people in. There's just literally nowhere to be. They don't let people just fill up the seats and the aisles and everything. So, get that ticket.
Get that ticket very early. And also, something very cool that we heard about, there's going to be an Esports Hall of Fame StarCraft 2 special exhibition in the same building that we're going to be having the GSL Finals. It starts on Tuesday. And honestly, if I were you, I would just go the same day the GSL Finals is going to happen. It's the same building, saves you a trip.
On the 11th floor. I think our actual finals, I know it's said in the graphic.
15th.
I think it's like the 15th? Okay. But yeah, go. We're going to have photos of all the players, old trophies. It's a little bit of a pop-up museum.
Yeah, and it's cooler than it might sound. When I originally heard about it, I thought it would just be, photos and just some cool memorabilia, but they're actually borrowing trophies and jerseys from the pros. So I think every single one of Maru's GSL trophies is going to be there, which is enough to just fill up a museum in its own right.
Just one museum alone for his trophies. Another thing as well is there is the Esports Museum. I don't know if you knew about this. There's a Korean Esports Museum in that building as well.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's part of this museum that's going to be there or not, But I have been there. I actually filmed a bunch of content. I meant to make a YouTube video about it. But there's a whole Korean esports museum there.
Yeah, so the finals, they start at 5 p.m. on Saturday. The doors open at 4. I would recommend getting there maybe 2 or 3 and just go check out the exhibition, get a coffee.
Yeah, there's some coffee shops around there. But it's a little bit of a trickier place. So it's going to be at the S-Plex Center for all that information. By the way, guys, well, we have our brackets. We're just moving through these.
We're going quick.
The graphics are coming up faster than we can talk about them. Here's our lineup today, as we were talking about earlier. 2 Protosses and 2 Zergs.
Yeah, Hero, formerly on DKZ, now rebranded to Weibo Gaming. Creator also representing Blacklist International Esports. As we continue to have StarCraft 2 players get picked up ahead of the EWC later on this year.
Yeah, you know, I think one of the things the EWC did that was really smart is that there are MVP awards for every different game. And so that means that every team has to have a StarCraft player. So it's a really great thing. Sometimes these bigger esports, they can swallow up all the budget of a team. And then, you know, there isn't a place for some of the smaller esports like StarCraft 2 is today, or Tekken, or, you know, these other games that we all know about, but they don't have, you know, the size and scope of like CSGO as an example.
Yeah, and they have that one prize. I don't know if this is the one that you're mentioning with MVP, but it's something like Best Esports Club Award.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's some ridiculous prize pool.
Right.
And so everyone wants to get their hands in basically all of the games, and it's so exciting because that means we have teams like Cloud9 getting involved, we have Team Liquid picking up more players, we have all these other orgs getting invested in StarCraft 2 esports, and it's really fun to see. And Creator, he wants to go to the new arena too, the Coliseum.
Yes,
we're having the finals on next week.
Yeah, Creator, you know, maybe this is a little bit old because I say this just about every time we get deep into GSL, but is this going to be his one? You know, GSL is now 13 years old, which is crazy to think. And Creator was here in like season 1 and 2. Maybe season 2 was his first one, but is he going to be able to take one? You just got to win a few best of 3s and best of 5s.
I feel like this is maybe his best chance, at least to make it to the semifinals.
Sure.
This group, it almost feels like it's tailor-made for Creator to advance to the semifinals already. He is got one of the best PvZs in the entire world. His PvP also not a slouch by any means. I was actually watching Creator versus Hero in some of the ESL Open Cups recently, and Creator can take series off this guy. A single best of 3 PvP, it's a chaotic matchup. A lot can happen. I feel like if Creator wins this series, I almost have him a shoo-in to make it to the top 4. I mean, this guy's just so rock solid. Give him 2 chances. We're going to find out if he can make it. Guys, Group B starting now. Hero versus Creator to kick things off. Our game is loaded up. Let's start Group B.
Okay, Hero in the bottom right. Creator in the top left. And, you know, PvP, statistically, this is the shortest matchup now in StarCraft 2. It doesn't have to be short. In fact, I think late game, if you can get a really long PvP where they're both taking up so much of the map, that could be really exciting to see. But, yeah, especially in GSL, we seem to have pretty short, explosive games.
Yeah, maybe a lot of one-base timings. Oh my God, talk about explosive games. We're going to have a cannon rush coming in from Hero.
I'm glad you pointed that out. I wasn't even looking for that.
Whoa, this is so meta. Creator is going for the low ground wall in, and Hero's going to try and cannon rush the second probe already arriving. I don't think he can fit a cannon behind that spot. I'm not completely...
I think you can.
Maybe. I think the ramp might be messing with it just a little bit. You can see how much respect Creator is showing.
No, he's got one.
You can fit a cannon.
Yeah, that's why he did it. That's why he put that probe back there.
This is crazy.
But the pylon's almost down.
Yeah, I feel like that cannon's going down.
This many probes can kill a cannon that's warping, right?
I think the math is 3 probes if you get it before the cannon is halfway done, 4 if it's after it's halfway done. We'll be able to shut it down. So both these cannons should be getting denied.
The one on the right, 100% goes down.
This one might get a couple shots in before it goes down, but I feel like this is pretty much thwarted. Yeah, he just cancels it, and Hero throws down a gateway at home. Creator not hesitating at all. He pulled so many probes, and he just deflects this cannon rush right from the beginning. I didn't even know you could hide a cannon in that spot. You can tell I'm an honorable Protoss when I'm on the ladder. I don't know these tricks.
No, that's wild to see. You know, we had, you remember this GSL? This is before you were casted here, but the one where Partying just did the pylon block at the ramp where they didn't have that
I
blocking.
remember this.
Yeah,
the rocks were in the wrong spot.
Yeah, like the unbuildable plates or whatever.
Like solar or something he was up against or something like that. Yeah, that was crazy.
And so, yeah, but every once in a while you'll see some kind of crazy cannon rush like that. But you can see why we don't see it more often is that the math is already solved on that. Now, 2 Zealots are going across the map.
By the way, we did have a gas steal in Crater's base. I actually missed that because we only got a glimpse of it as it was warping in.
Well, you know, maybe, I don't know. It doesn't feel like a failed cannon rush into gas steal is the plan.
Yeah, this almost feels like a Brood War PvP right now with 2 Zealots walking into the main base here of Hero.
So the Zealots are going to come in. Now, these can do quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, Cybernetics Core only just now finishing. A second Zealot is about to pop here for Hero, but he's already losing a couple of probes. Looking for this round right now with his. Crater with some nice focus fire, but look at the micro here by Hero to bring that low HP Zealot back.
This really goes to show you how much damage you can eke out with those Zealots. So we have 3 kills so far. And this is going to be wrapped up in a second here. There's 2 more Stalkers being produced for the time being. Warp Gate inbound here as well. Now, for Creator, he's just expanding. So one of 2 things has to happen right away. Either Hero expands himself and plays catch-up, or he's got to do an all-in. And I think with the proxied pylon over here, this is going to be an all-in.
Yeah, almost definitely. Warp Gate's about halfway done. I honestly feel like it's too late to even proxy tech. If I'm Hero in this situation, I'm just throwing down another gateway. I'm going to go for a 3-gate, but instead it will be a Robo. I'm worried for Hero that this isn't going to kick in fast enough to actually stop Creator, because Creator, with his fast expand, his economy is booming right now. He's going to have a pretty sizable army set up to hold on, even adding an additional gateway.
So maybe this works. I would be stunned if Creator were to lose to this, just considering how tripped up Hero has been since the beginning. Basically, at pro-level play, you're just not... Oh, he's going to get that one. Beautifully done. At pro-level play, you're just never supposed to be in a situation where, like, a cannon rush fails, and they still recover and win.
Yeah, Creator's defense was on point. Not even one cannon finished, so Hero's tech is so slowed down going for this, and Creator comes into the main base. He sees no natural expansion. He sees the gateways morphing in. He knows something is proxied. He probably doesn't know exactly what the proxy is, but in this situation as Creator, it's either a Robo or it's a 3 or 4 gate. Those are really the only options. And let's see if Hero with this 1 Immortal is going to be able to bust it down, but Creator already throwing down another gateway in the main base. He's warping in more shield batteries than natural expansion, 4 shield batteries in production right now, and he starts an Immortal of his own.
This is all going to come down to whether or not Creator can hold. If he holds this, Hero will leave. Unless, of course, it's like a super close trade, but I think even then, yeah, it's all going to come down to this moment. The push comes in. He does isolate 1 Stalker on the outside.
Yeah, there actually isn't that much here in terms of range for Creator. Just 1 Stalker remaining. Another one going to come in from the main base. That Cybernetics Core dangerously low on HP already.
If the core goes down, you cannot make more Stalkers. Zealots are not handy in a situation like this. Nice force field there is going to isolate one of the Stalkers on the outside.
I think he wanted to catch that Immortal, but just barely couldn't get it.
Yeah. A second Immortal is going to come out. It would be nice if he could catch this gateway on the outside, but the Stalkers and... oh, sorry, there's going to be some Adepts. He's going to go up the ramp. Is this blocked? Does he have a probe here? He does.
He can wall it in.
Or can get inside.
Yeah, it actually doesn't throw down the pylon or shield batteries, so those Stalkers going to have to try and deal with it. Oh, no, this Immortal gets caught out. There is a force field available. It is going to catch the Immortal. Battery overcharge not going to be enough. Oh, it is! That's insane! The Immortal barely survives. I thought 100% that was going down, Tasteless.
I cannot believe that that survived. Keep in mind, guys, Creator is known to go on tilt. Okay, a lot of times he looks perfect until everything falls apart, and it's it's been his demon, so to speak, is trying to stabilize. By the way, another Adept's going to get in here. That's going to be more workers killed off.
And Hero warped in more sentries trying to catch units with force fields, but Creator already has the Warp Prism out. That's going to negate the power of these sentries a lot in this situation, and this entire time, Creator's harvesting with about 10 more workers than Hero. He is scaling better. Hero needs to make a play happen, so he's going to go into the main base.
Yeah, he's going to elevator this up here. Oh, he kind of misplays that. One of the Mortals does not get out. He needs to just get a few more Stalkers up here, and he could probably cement his position. One of the sentries gets dragged down. Now, the Warp Prism can juggle the Immortals, but there's a Warp Prism as well here for Creator.
Oh, this might just be enough.
Force field.
Force field on the natural ramp is going to create a bottleneck. Probe's getting pulled right now for Creator. They're trying to mitigate the damage coming in from this army.
Another sentry is in the mix here. No more warp-ins yet for Hero, but the cooldown is going to be done in a second. The push comes in further from Creator.
Yeah, and I think Creator, by the skin of his teeth, is going to be able to hold on. Those units reinforcing from the natural expansion, it felt like Hero might have had one window. He is going to recharge for one last hurrah, but I'm not sure he has enough to take Creator down at this point.
Yeah.
A lot of probes did go down, but still, that expansion being up here for Creator is such a big factor.
And
wait,
again,
Creator's army's out here on the outside. Look at that.
What?
He might go in for a sandwich.
Well, if he can get on to where the pylon is, this could end up working. Beautiful force field there. Great punish.
The War Prism gets taken out, though. A little
Yeah.
bit overextended. There was Creator, and so now Hero can micro quite well. Unfortunately for him, doesn't have enough energy on these sentries.
Okay, he's going to try to get this pylon. He does get it lowered enough. All that Creator has to do now is micro as best he can. He does not have the advantage of a Warp Prism, but these overwhelming numbers here on the ground should be enough to do it.
Yeah, man, what a hole by Creator. Starting
GG.
with a cannon rush defense and just carrying it through. Hero made it a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
I
With
gotta
that
say,
timing, but
when I saw that Immortal on the outside taking damage, I thought, oh no. Like, Creator's going to fumble the ball again. Now, again, you know, it's funny. It's cool to see Creator hold that, but at the same time, I'm almost like more impressed with Hero bungling a cannon rush and then still almost winning with a timing attack.
it was close.
By the way, guys, this is why cannon rushes are such a rare occurrence at pro-level matches, but still incredibly commonplace online. Is like, people can lose to cannon rushes. They're really hard to stop. They're really good. The issue is that there's almost no way to reverse the game if the cannon rush doesn't close it out.
Yeah, Creator knew exactly what to do. Which
At the
is
highest
just,
level, I should say. You can be masters, like low masters, and maybe people could still do it versus you, but when you get to like GSL Codex level, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, well, Creator shutting down Hero's early aggression in game number 1. We're going to go to Golden Aura for game number 2. Creator one map win away from going to that winner's match. Can he close it out here against Hero? Game is loaded up. Let's get to it.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now. Let's
Okay. Hero here in the top left and Creator in the bottom right. I doubt we're going to have any more cannon rushes today.
I would be surprised if we did. I'm actually surprised already that Hero's going for the low ground gateway here on Golden Aura. He's not usually the kind of player that you would expect to do this. I peg him more as a one-basing Protoss or early aggression Protoss, like a Stargate into expand type Protoss than a potential low ground expansion. But of course, with this low ground gateway, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be an expansion. It just kind of telegraphs that both to us as the casters and also to Creator as an opponent.
Yeah, it's at least the first couple building blocks of an expand. It'll definitely signal to his opponent it should be an expand. But yeah, let's see where the rest of the buildings are. Double gas right now for Creator. And that's going to be matched here by Hero. Is a little bit later.
Yeah, Hero with just one gateway as well. Hasn't thrown in the second one just yet.
Up, down. All right. Got the Hero support here in the audience. Now, assuming that we do have an expand build here from Hero, we're going to see it a little bit. You know, it'd be interesting to see if Creator could just close this one out with some kind of a push or some kind of a timing attack. I'm a little bit surprised Hero went for the cannon rush. I kind of can't get over this. I just feel like it's unnecessary. I do think we all agree that Hero is probably better than Creator PvP, but a cannon rush, maybe it's just that I perceive it as almost a lack of respect or something here. Even you know, Creator, even though he can choke sometimes or go on tilt, even then I don't think he'd be you know, the guy that would lose to it, right?
Yeah, his response was perfect. And Hero here in game number 2 really switching it up with a one-gate expand into a Nexus.
Stargate on low ground.
Into a Stargate on the low ground, that's right. And one thing that's surprising about this too is that Hero, he scouted Creator very early with a probe, and Creator, as a result of that, proxied one of his pylons on the map, just so that Hero has the threat of a proxy. And despite the threat of a proxy and it being unscouted there for Hero, he still went for the one-gate Nexus, he still went for the Stargate. And so he's going to continue to play this really defensive game. Creator behind of it going 2 Adepts into 2 Sentries, and then a Nexus follow-up will also be expanding. And I like this quite a bit for Hero, the way the builds are lining up. he's going to have some pretty strong tech right now with the Stargate coming in. He should be able to wall in the natural expansion quite easily should those Adepts come cross-map. And this expansion is going to be significantly faster.
Okay, Void Ray coming up.
And the Void Ray here is purely defensive measure for Hero.
Yeah, it's sort of a catch-all for anything else that his opponent might throw his way. He's going to see that Void Ray's warping in. And so we're going to have the expansion up first here for Hero. To be honest, a fairly uneventful start here to this game. Nobody really doing much other than Hero expanding slightly ahead. I think Creator, though, smartly so, realizes he can't really punish this. There's not a whole lot he can do. And so we're going to go into two-base play.
I like Hero canceling, going for the Oracle after the Shade finishes, by the way. Just a little bit more fog of war here for Creator, not letting him know what the game plan is. And Creator developing back at home is going to go really quick into a Twilight Council off of this. So I wonder if a blink timing might be in the cards here for Creator after scouting the tech of Hero. Because Hero, again, really committing to the Stargate tech. He's a player that very much favors Oracles in PvP, more so than your typical Korean Protoss. He just loves to play with this unit, whether it's a 1-gate expand or a 2-gate Stargate Oracle expand. He loves to mix in the Oracles, and as a result, a very strong blink timing could be an Achilles heel for him in a matchup like this one.
Yeah, it'll really mute the power of the Void Ray if you could just get right underneath it and kill it off.
Especially with sentries to hallucinate you onto the high ground. You also avoid the natural expansion choke point. You go straight into the main. And Blink's already started and a third gateway for Creator, so I'm feeling quite confident that it will be that timing attack. This could still just be Creator eventually expanding with 3-gate pressure as a follow-up, but I feel like you're up 1 game in a series against Hero. You know exactly what he's going for because you have that hallucination scout coming in like this. Double scout even into the main base and the natural expansion. You see no robotics facility. You only see the Twilight Council and the Stargate there from Hero. I almost feel like it would be a missed opportunity for Creator not to go for that kind of timing, but we'll see how he decides to play it. Actually, it's Hero getting aggressive here with 4 Stalkers and a Void Ray.
Well, he's generating some threats out here, just outside the main. Peeks in there. It's a good thing he got out when he did. He would have been overwhelmed right there.
And it is going to be...
Yeah, he's going to set up for a push. And, I mean, I would assume Blink, maybe 15 seconds out, something like that. He will be moving out on the map in a second here. Oh, wait, what? Okay, I'm sorry. He's going to take a third base. When I saw that pylon out there outside the Hero's natural, I thought 100% this is going to be a push soon. But
yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
I guess it's set up so that he can counterattack if he wants to. If let's say that Hero tries to hit him.
Yeah, there's a gateway proxy too. I think we are just going to see.
Yeah.
He knows the timing of Hero's blink is less than his, and so I'm wondering if Creator's just going to try and proxy this pylon and gateway to eke out any value he can from that blink stalker advantage. But overall, it seems like Creator is happy to go into a macro game. He's throwing down the robotics facility, throwing down a forge. He's continuing to probe back at home, and Hero also taking a third base, actually going into Dark Shrine behind all of this. And these armies are going to meet in the middle of the map in a moment. Blink about to finish here for Hero. For Creator, I think it's already done. Got to be careful, but that is a strong army. You don't really want to blink on top of that here as Creator, but he does. He's going to blink on top of the Void Ray, instantly charges, but he's going to lose at least a couple of Stalkers, and now Blink is done here for Hero.
Yeah, this might be maybe 2 sentries too many for now. He throws a force field down. No Guardian Shield activated just yet. Creator's going to continue to try to push. Blink versus Blink here. Arcing around that is Creator, so Hero has to back away. There is a Dark Shrine coming, by the way. We don't have any observers here, no detection for the time being. So that could completely flatten the push. Meanwhile, Oracle's here in the main doing a lot of damage. Hero oversteps, though.
Yeah, Hero overstepping, just trying to tax Creator's multitasking as much as possible. As a result, 6 workers do go down. There is 1 observer on the map, but I'm not sure where it is. If it's joining the army or if it's staying back at home. And there is a chance that DTs could get some damage done. That Dark Shrine almost finished. But Cannon's warping in, I think.
Yeah, there's an observer here to catch as well.
Yeah, Creator knows. It must have been a hallucination scout or...
Yeah, no, it seems like he's completely ready to counter it. So he must have spotted this when we were doing the play-by-play. But a push-up. Both players on 3 base. We're continuing to see development. A Forge is about to finish here for Hero, signaling he's going to go for upgrades. He wants to try to power up. We don't have a Forge yet. Oh, no, I guess we do. I'm sorry for Creator. I must have missed that, too.
Yeah, Creator started his Forge a little bit earlier. That's how he has the cannon up in the natural expansion. And so these DTs just going to get parried immediately. The one entering the 30 base gets taken out. The Immortal is just going to hold position right there on the ramp. Observer should come in here in a moment.
All right, he takes that out. There's going to be a blink in over here.
Targeting the Nexus, maybe a little bit ambitious there for Hero.
Yeah. Probably could have gotten maybe one worker instead, so somewhat inconsequential. 5 more gates are being made. A 4th base has started for Hero where Creator is powering up with those extra 5 gateways. So we could see a push. I mean, it's also possible that we just see a later Nexus here from Creator, but it feels like when those 5 gateways finish up, there should be an opportunity production-wise for Creator to try to find something here.
Yeah, and I think even though he is taking another expansion, we are probably going to see a timing. The War Prism already starting for Creator. Charge is going to link up right at the same time that the Templar Archives is completing, so that should mesh really well for Creator's economy with his high gateway count. And it might lead into a timing, but I'm worried for Creator because Hero, through this chip damage, has just slowly worked away at Creator's economy on the back of already having a faster natural expansion. So he was a pace ahead of Creator pretty much from the beginning of this game in terms of economy, and plus those Oracles just finding so much damage. And even though the DT harassment failed, you can see it in the supplies right now on the screen. It's 140 to 126. Hero's at 77 workers to the sub 60 count here of Creator. And Creator is continuing to build cannons to try and mitigate the threat of Dark Templar drops, of Oracles coming into these expansions, but that's resources that aren't going to be invested in a later timing attack while Hero's economy is just continuing to grow across the map.
Yeah, we're starting to get into late game PvP here. 4 base versus 4 base. Creator's Nexus just now going to finish up. We have a War Prism being made. Sometimes that can signal that you're going to actually do a push, but it's a situation where at the same time we have Creator actually moving out on the map. So obviously they should not be pushing each other. If you see 2 people meet in the middle of the map and fight, one of them's wrong. Yeah,
Creator is definitely going to commit to the push. He has stopped worker production for a long time despite taking that 4th base. It's almost a feign, and so here right now, he's all in defense. He has a double Robo with a Robo base set up. There is a Stasis Trap that's going to catch a big chunk of supply and also almost act as a force field here on this ramp. And so Hero, with that confidence, going to move forward. Guardian Shield pops, and it's a great arc on top.
Oh my god, an Archon stuck in the back, not really doing any damage. Warpin's over here at the top to try to sandwich this position. A blink forward here from Hero.
Yeah, the surround is huge coming in from Hero, and the War Prism micro on the Archons as well. This is a great arc. The Stasis Trap, though, it has expired, so Creator, he has the full force of his army once again fighting on this ramp. Hero's waiting for these double class A to pop. Link forward. Creator, you can tell he wants to get that War Prism, wants to mitigate the micro potential here from Hero, and even go after these Robo units. Is he going to be able to get the Colossus? One more shot could do it. Oh, the Stasis Trap on the Stalkers! And Creator, he's getting fought back.
Yeah, did Creator overextend there? More Warpins are coming. The Colossus is going to stay in the game. He might want to try to time this out so he can attack back in as those other Stalkers are no longer frozen, but instead Creator going to attack up at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, Creator wants to create another problem here for Creator and said, Hero's trying to mitigate this right now. Oh, Disruptor Shot going to pop. Only gets 1 Stalker, though. Creator with a really good spread also gets the Warp Prism.
Okay, Hero's up against the ropes. 1 Colossus goes down. The battery's going to recharge it, but it's not enough. I think we are at the tipping point here.
Wow, Creator had 1 chance to make a timing work, and he absolutely seized it despite the clutch Stasis Traps coming in from Hero. What an engage from Creator. I mean, the Disruptor Shot, it connects big, but just look at the army supplies. I think that's it, Tasteless.
Yeah, I gotta say, kind of a cool upset to start the evening off. It's gonna be a 2-0 victory here. Creator beating Hero. You could feel the adrenaline pumping through Creator. You just look at him.
Yeah, that was a 6 series, and honestly, if Creator gave Hero another 30 seconds, I don't think he wins that game.
Yeah.
He hit right before the 4-base economy would start to pay off. He hit right before the double Robo kicked in with all those key robotic spay units that Hero needed to stabilize back at home. And Creator just saw his 1 chance and seized it after playing from what felt like behind pretty much all game. That was a very clutch timing attack. Creator is looking unstoppable right now, and he's going to work his way into the winner's match already.
Cool to see. Guys, short break. Coming up next, more mirror matchups. ZVZ, DRG versus Dark. We will be right back.
I got medals round my neck. I'm cashing everybody's check. When it's sink or swim, I was born to win. I got medals round my neck. I'm cashing everybody's check. When it's sink or swim, you can't stop me. I was born to win. You can't stop me, 'cause I was born to win.
I'm reaching for the top, oh yeah, I'm going for the goal. It's the throne, that's my spot, no matter whatever you told. I don't see no competition, not to mention what I'm posed. Taking over, crashing ceilings, baby, I'ma do the most. Standing firm, 10 toes, ain't no backing down. I'm going hard in the field, I'm a savage now. Don't be appalled, it get real about the action, automatic. I bring the static to anybody asking round. What's the difference between heroes and villains? All it is their opposing missions. And I already know how it's gonna end, 'cause I knew from the start that I was born to win.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for a ZVZ. Surprisingly, Creator is 2-0'd Hero. And I got to say, he looks great. I love the timing attack, especially in Game 2. Still questioning Hero's the fact that he has the nerve to cannon rush here versus Creator, completely getting shut down. There's a realistic chance Hero does not make it out of this group.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough now for Hero. I still would be surprised if he got knocked out in the losers match, but for Creator winning, that means that the next 2 series that he plays, if he wins them, he gets to go into the round of 4. And his PBZ is so out of this world. He might have, a top 2, top 3 PBZ in the world right now. It's just been his best matchup forever. There's a very good chance that we have Creator advancing to the top 4. And on top of it, with Dark and DRG now fighting off, the loser of this match is going to have to go up against Hero, which is just a nightmare for any Zerg to play an elimination GSL match against Hero here in the round of 8.
And I do feel like Hero probably has the scariest PvZ in all of Korea here. So it's DRG versus Dark. I feel like this is a very obvious matchup where Dark is clearly the favorite. But let's keep an open mind here. DRG, I feel like his best matchup is still ZVZ. So, yeah, maybe he'll be able to take a game here. But it would feel weird to not have a top 4 without Dark.
Yeah, DRG's in a little bit of an odd spot right now because he played through the round of 16 here in GSL and went 4-0. First place in a group with Beyond, Nightmare, and Solar.
Right.
Which is really impressive. And it kind of makes you think that he's going to be in good form. But then when he went to Dallas, I'm not sure if it was jet lag or just the new environment or if something was up with him. But he really had a rough showing. He went 0-2 versus Sue in the open bracket. And then he lost to Hearthstone. And that was him basically knocked out of the tournament. I think it was something like top 36, top 40 in the ESL SC2 Masters. So not the performance he was looking for. I'm hoping that DRG can rebound a little bit because StarCraft 2 in Korea is just better when DRG is playing well. But to come against Dark here, one of the brainiest ZVZ players in the world.
He is goated, man.
This is going to be a tough matchup. Somebody who's riding the high of a top 4 at ESL SC2 Masters. I'm excited for it. Hey, so our game is loading up.
Oh, it is it is so loading up right now. It's really making me so excited. Guys, we're going to go to Site Delta here. DRG versus Dark starting now.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now. Let's
Okay, DRG in the bottom right, Dark in the top left.
It was really surprising to me how well Dark did in Dallas, given the fact that he recently has a newborn, right? I mean, that's got to cut into your practice time at least a little bit. Funny little anecdote. I was on the flight to Dallas. Oh, that's a really good sign. I like that one.
Ooh,
look
Global
at this.
StarCraft League.
Class 6 GSL.
Wait a minute, that's our show. How do we not have that? What is that cool merch that I don't own? I did once steal a mouse pad from the studio. There were GSL mouse pads.
I'll keep your secret.
Yeah. And,
I have an original GOM TV patch, like the patch that you would sew onto a jersey.
Oh,
still
okay,
in my
or
house.
like on a backpack.
I have a Prime patch as well.
The foot,
yeah.
the old the foot, right?
I think it might be. I have to check.
Yeah.
But on my flight to Dallas, I was on a plane, and on this plane was basically all of the StarCraft 2 MMR in Korea. There was like stats, Maru. I think Gumiho was also on the flight. Ryung was on the flight. Hero was on the flight. And all the way in the back was Dark, a couple of rows behind me. And I have never seen somebody sleep so soundly on a plane than Dark flying to Dallas. And I'm like, yeah, that's early fatherhood. This is probably the best sleep the guy has had in weeks. Is like riding this 747 across the Pacific Ocean all the way to Dallas. It's like everybody else is just struggling to sleep. I know when I'm on a flight.
You're watching people try to figure out how to kill time as you see them slowly go through an entire Netflix series and they can't pass out.
And Dark is sitting in the back. He's just fully reclined, and he just looks like almost a dead person. He's sleeping so well. And I was so envious because that's a long flight. It's like 13 hours between Seoul and Dallas. It's
a long trip.
It's a long way.
I remember like right when like StarCraft 2 came out, and it was like everybody was going to like an MLG. I think it was one in Anaheim or something, and Dan and me are on the plane, and it's like us and nothing but pro gamers. And Dan looks at me and he goes, if this plane crashes, esports is gone.
I made the same joke when I landed at Dallas. Yeah.
It's
All the best players in the world are right here.
Yeah, right here, man.
There will be no more GOAT argument.
Does this pilot know what he's, yeah.
Ferrying precious cargo.
Okay, so this is 3 base versus 3 base.
Yeah, the builds are basically mirrored down to a T.
We just got to see if one player stops making drones and starts making lings.
Oh.
Now, a baneling's nest doesn't mean a rush yet because you need a baneling's nest to stop a ling rush as well. But if we see lings, we're going to know.
Yeah, keeping a close eye on the production tab. 2 more lings are coming out for Dark, but 2 lings doesn't really telegraph anything thus far. And I would almost be surprised if we saw one player really commit to aggression right now with just how close this has been. Although I say that, DRG firing up 6 more lings. We'll see when they decide to let up on the gas pedal, if at all.
The next wave of larva is going to come out here, and then we're really going to know what's coming.
Okay. More lings for DRG. He's sitting comfortably right now on about 32, 33 drones.
So just a couple more going to come out here. We've got a Roach Warren coming towards the natural expansion here. He wants to plug up the entrance. And the same thing, only this one's going to be a bit more hidden here for Dark. It's behind his the minerals at his natural.
Yeah, and players are just continuing to mirror each other, both droning up very heavily. I think DRG a little bit more greedy with the droning than Dark has been, but not to an extreme, not to the mode that you can really risk getting punished, at least not yet. And Dark actually taking, DRG, excuse me, taking another Vespene Geyser as well, that extractor going down. So I'm expecting behind this high drone count that we're going to see a lot of roaches coming out from Dongregu in this situation. Lair also coming in for DRG. Really not that much. The lings do come in. They scout the Roach Warren and the natural expansion, but...
So it's going to be about how well he can receive this big plume of lings that's going to hit him.
Oh, yeah, it's actually
more drones are coming. It's 16 lings inbound here for Dark. So Dark's going to be pulling the trigger.
Yeah, at least a little bit. Should be 30-plus lings coming into the natural and third base here of Dark. And that isn't really the amount of DRG. I don't know why I keep getting them confused. I think it's because we have blue for DRG on top and red for Dark on bottom, but on the map it's the opposite. Now the lings coming in. Actually, nice micro there with the Roaches, able to work them into the corner. Banelings are going to be able to come into an assist. In fact, instead they're going in to try and help the drones out, but actually Dark is getting a lot of damage. All the drones at the third base are going to die. This is getting way more down than I thought it would, Tasteless.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that hit, too. So many low HP lings. The Roach is trying to body block, but more lings getting shift-clicked down. 16 drones have fallen.
DRG is taking a beating right now. And behind this, I mean, there's some more Roaches being made, but this many worker kills is pretty huge.
I saw the 30 lings in total, and I really wasn't expecting this scale of damage coming in on DRG because he had some Roaches that were getting ready to pop, but...
Well, it's funny because it became clear pretty quickly it wasn't an all-in to end the game. He just wanted to kill enough workers to put himself in a comfortable position as things continue to develop.
As it is, DRG, he did drone up quite heavily behind it, and so worker counts are going to equalize in this kind of odd pendulum swing of the economies here. And from there, more drones coming down for Dark. DRG, he might be the one that decides to get aggressive because he does have that faster layer timing. He's going to have faster Roach speed. He's already starting +1 range attack, although I look at the production tab now and you see Dark is doing the exact same thing on his side of the map.
Okay, Queens are going to drive out this Overseer. And the rest of this game is basically a question of how can DRG catch up? How can he do this? You know, some games are win on like such a crazy degree of complexity. This game's not. Basically, Dark did a really sharp attack. He split his lings really well. He killed workers. And so, fundamentally, DRG's just, like, kind of behind in every way. He's caught up in workers, but that means that, you know, he still hasn't reaped the benefits of the higher number of workers that Dark had for a while now.
Yeah, I feel like it's not that bad for DRG, though, just because of how greedy he was early. He was always a little bit ahead of Dark in terms of workers up until that Ling counterattack hit, and so I think he was able to better absorb the damage of Dark coming cross-map with those Lings more than a typical Zerg would in a situation like that one. And at this stage, we're basically done droning for both players for at least a minute, I would think. Sub-70 drone counts, a lot of Roaches in production on both sides. They are going to eke out a couple more drones in total, but with Tunneling Claws now coming in for DRG, he's definitely going to be trying some tricky tactics and also a +1 finishing up for both these players. I would be surprised if we saw them transition off of Roaches very quickly. Even Drop Overlords coming in here for DRG, so he's going to start executing a lot of multitask tactics. Drops coming in, Tunneling Claws also done, And Dark seems like he's well prepared for it. He's got a Spore Crawler in every mineral line. How often do we see this in a ZVZ?
Not that often, honestly. It's a game where, you know, we've got the 4 base to the 3. Well, I guess actually 6 o'clock is being taken here. But, yeah, I mean, Dark is looking pretty comfortable. He's in a decent position right now. DRG, he should start making his moves pretty soon here. We do have 1-1 starting as well here for Dark, where I believe it was just missile attack for DRG, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's one of those kind of long-term moves that every minute that passes is going to be more of a problem here for DRG, as the upgrades are going to favor Dark. We've got the Roach drop coming in, so he probably wants to try to get he's probably not going to drop it yet, but when it's time, he wants to have just enough roaches there that he can dislodge the other roaches that are going to be guarding the 3rd base, the 4th base, maybe the natural as well.
Yeah, and with tunneling claws too, you're able to kind of work them around like DTs. Actually, both sides going for the Roach drop is so cute right now.
Yeah, just seeing whatever workers you can get.
I love these little danger balloons just flying around, dropping roaches on drones.
Danger balloons.
That's what they feel like, man.
Yeah.
Back of the +2 Baneling meta where they would one-shot probes,
Yeah.
they were definitely danger balloons. It's like, what was that unit in Command and Conquer? Like the Kirov reporting.
I'm like the engineer. No, Daceless.
They just drop roaches instead of, or Banelings instead of those little tiny bombs. That takes me back. Well, both sides going for these roach drops. Dark only finding a couple of drone damage, but really not that much. And DRG coming cross-match where the tunneling claws also hasn't really been able to get that much damage done. Dark is just well equipped to deal with it. We might actually have a late game ZVZ coming in. Infestation Pit was in production, I believe, for Dark. Saw a glimpse of that on the production tab. Both players max with about 60 workers in total.
Okay, so we've got Dark coming out now on the move here. DRG sees that just outside the rocks. A big counterattack here from DRG, going to kill 2 of these drones.
Yeah, 3 more drones going down. This hatchery might actually fall. It's at risk as Dark splitting his army. Does get caught in the middle there by DRG just off screen on the right side of the map. He is going to retreat and try and save this hatchery. Should be able to do it. And DRG is going to use this as an opportunity to encroach on the position of Dark. More biles raining down. Dark is going to have to reposition. And DRG, despite having a little bit less army supply, is trying to find an angle where he actually has an advantage attacking in on Dark. The problem is, Dark, with all of his forces back at home, except for those 4 roaches in the Overlord, are just really able to parry this attack quite well. He is going into Hive Tech on the back foot of this. And these fights are pretty much just going to trade out evenly. So DRG going to retreat back at home. Dark, he is playing with a very low drone count.
Yeah, DRG's got about a 10-worker lead. But obviously, when you start to max out, that can be 10 more supply of army. And the roaches are still doing damage. I mean, Dark's actually getting that count evened out pretty quickly here with the harass. Meanwhile, a push down here over at the 3rd base, and another one over at the, 5th over at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, Tunneling Claw's actually going in. They're going to get the full surround right now as Dark is encroaching on these Ravagers. It's a 360 surround. DRG caught out of position. The Ravagers with very little support are going to get taken out. This is a huge blow to DRG's army. Keep in mind that Dark behind all of this has the faster Hive. So he's going for this timing attack, and he's getting all this damage done, even catching these Tunneling Claw Roaches. That's more damage being done. Dark is still maxed. And in a stage of the game where it feels like DRG should probably trade a little bit better than Dark, it's actually Dark taking the advantage with some really clever tactics.
Yeah, Dark looking really scary, like a real powerhouse here in the late game. He did some damage. The worker count now fairly even. It is 4 base to 5, although the 5th base is barely a thing. But Dark's going to slam into this position again at the top, doing a lot of damage. Maybe a bit of an overextension here in the bottom?
Maybe, but there really isn't a lot of roach support. Yeah, plus the upgraded advantage coming in. Another surround on the Ravagers. This might just be enough to break DRG. There isn't enough of a front line to support the Ravagers.
Yeah, he just can't protect those Ravagers. Just this overwhelming amount here from Dark. Dark going to just shove right back in. There it is, GG. Dark takes game 1 in an impressive late-game fashion.
Yeah, I thought that one was going to go all the way to high-tech lurkers and vipers on the field, but Dark was just able to sever the head of DRG with that Tunneling Claws attack. When those roaches regroup with the main army attacking the triangle third, I mean, that was just beautiful. Already, that was a fragile position for a DRG with a roach front line waning, but once the surround came in from those Tunneling Claw roaches and DRG's, the remaining forces that were supposed to deal with the roaches were at his 4th base or his 5th base, wherever it was, he wasn't in position to deal with it. And Dark, despite setting himself up for the late game, was just able to completely decapitate DRG in one fell swoop.
All right, we're going to go to Golden Aura here for map number 2. I got to say, DRG put up a good fight, but Dark got in there, did his harass, and basically relied on upgrades in late game, along with some very clean movement to close that out. Can DRG turn this around? Or is Dark going to close this out 2-0 and go on to face off against Creator? Our game has loaded up, guys. Let's get into it.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now. Let's
All right, DRG spawning as the blue Zerg in the bottom right, Dark the red Zerg in the top left on Golden Aura. And that was a really well-played late game.
Oh, some
thank
state
you.
love. There we go. Look at that.
Number
Zerg
one in the
only.
world.
Welcome, everybody.
It's
Good
a
to have
really packed studio here in the front.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited for our finals, too. I think this venue is fine for doing finals, but it's nice. It feels more special when we use one of the other studios.
Yeah, I really like it.
I want to mention something before we get too far in this game, because I know some people, they skip the intro, they just get right into gameplay. There is a StarCraft museum that will be at our finals if you want to show up earlier. It's on the floor 11 of the building. There is also, and I don't know if this is in this, if they're in the same place, there's also an esports museum. Government-sponsored esports museum at the venue as well. That's always there. It's there year-round. It's open to tourists. I think it costs like $5 or something to get in, but it's very cool, and it covers more than just StarCraft. It's about the history of Korean esports. But I would recommend you check it out. I was last year we were doing Valorant in that building. I just showed up early one day to go look at it. I was very impressed. I thought it was super cool. So if you're going to be here, finals is Saturday, 5 p.m. It's at the S-Plex Center. So don't come to this studio. This studio is literally an hour and a half away from where our finals is going to be.
Yeah, it's the other side of town. And
yeah.
tickets go on sale 5:30 p.m. tomorrow. Make sure you buy them immediately. If you're just tuning in now, go into the start of the show or the end of the show. Wait until you find the graphic with a link to buy the tickets.
Yeah.
And be F5ing that page. Make sure you're there at 5:30 p.m. because tickets...
Yeah, it sells out in 5 minutes. So
yeah, that's not an exaggeration. They literally
Yeah.
tell us oftentimes they sell out within 5 or 10 minutes. It
Yeah.
is a race to buy those tickets even in the bigger venue. So make sure you get them. And doors open, I think, 4 p.m. So maybe get there like 3, and then you can go to the museum.
Yeah. I do find, I think the venue's cool. It's not near a train station. So it's, which I don't know about everybody watching. I just love just taking the train everywhere in Seoul. So it's a little bit of a walk from the train station. So you might want to come a little bit earlier just to make sure you find it so you don't miss out on the opening of the show and everything. So anyways, in this game, we have 3 hatch versus 3 hatch. In ZVZs, where they're both doing the identical thing, we wait to see if one player stops making drones and starts making links.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same as last game. I'd be surprised if Dark didn't throw down that Baneling Nest in a moment here. And so we're just building up into a macro ZVZ. There's the Baneling Nest. A touch late here for Dark, but that's fine. And both players seem to have a similar mindset coming into this matchup. And thinking back to game number 1, it's rare that you see both players going for Roach Ravager with Tunneling Claws with 1 Drop Overlord. Almost the exact same drone count. I feel like they were basically played the mirrored games. I think the key differences were in the movement, and also Dark going for that second evolution chamber a little bit faster than DRG. Besides that, there really wasn't that much of variance in the way they approached the mid game. So I wonder if that is going to change over the course of the series, if now that they've played the first game and kind of felt out their opponent, if they're going to try and mix things up a little bit here. But as it is now, it's not looking that different. DRG still a little bit ahead in drones. This is similar to the way that he was approaching game number 1, and Dark was able to punish him with a really nice Ling flood. About 30 Lings in the mid game that caught, what was it, like 16 drones worth of damage?
Yeah. Excuse me.
And DRG
Sorry.
coming with this Ling is going to get a good scat on, sees that it's still lair tech, or still hatchery tech, excuse me. Sees the Roach Warren timing, I believe, there at the natural expansion.
Yeah, I think he did spot that.
Gets to count the drones as well, so he knows that, you know, you only have a finite number of resources to spend at any stage in the game. Counting the drones like that knows means that DRG is going to know. Jesus, why can't I say this right now? Means that DRG is going to know that Dark doesn't have too many tricks up his sleeve in this moment.
Okay, nice snipe there on the Baneling. Now, even just seeing that one Bane there, that would, you know, make you think, okay, am I about to be attacked hard? What's funny is he's not. He's still droning up.
Yeah, I think it's more of Dark trying to feign aggression right here against
Yeah,
DRG.
this is a cool bluff, because I feel like I never get to see this in TVZ when I'm casting it. But the idea is still very much there. I want to see if maybe we see an overreaction from DRG. You know, basically it's like game 1, or game 2 plays off of game 1, right? There was a sharp Ling attack timing, and so this time he's trying to sell another attack, but there's really nothing like that coming.
Yeah, and DRG is going really quickly into 6 extractors. He actually took 4 of them at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was going to come online about the same time as the Lair. So it seems like DRG and Dark have a little bit of a different philosophy in terms of how to build up their economy in the early game. Dark took those extractors a little bit faster than DRG. This one drone's in the wrong spot.
Yeah, I always find it really cool when you have 2 players and they're going to get to the same place but different ways. But usually, you know, it's not apples or oranges things. One usually is better than the other.
As it is right now, I kind of favor the way that DRG has been playing it. A little bit greedier in the early game, and even after he got punished there by Dark, think of how quickly he rebounded after losing 16 drones. He still was able to max at basically the exact same time that Dark did. I mean, he did lose the game, but it showed that he's able to absorb the impact of aggression quite well. Source here is going to get picked off.
Yeah, takes that out. Evo Chamber, second one started right now for DRG.
And we're basically doing the same thing. We have Spore Crawlers coming in on both sides. After Roach Speed, I would be surprised if we didn't see Tunneling Claws the same way that we did in game number 1. There's a Drop Overlord with 4 Roaches, the same way as game number 1 on both sides. So this is not something I recommend here for DRG.
Wait, what? I'm
is that
sorry.
intentional? He just transformed Ravagers.
I think he walled himself out. Wait,
no,
what?
there's a path open.
What?
I don't know exactly what we're seeing there.
What?
All right. I mean, Banelings, they aren't as good at this stage of the game, but also, why?
No, it looked like he was stuck for a second, so then he killed it, but then as he killed it, we saw the Roach move in between the Evo Chamber and the Roach Warren.
Yeah, it was a one-tile gap. Maybe you're just at this stage in the game here.
I can't imagine there's like a bug where you're like, well, if you build a building below it, then it blocks the thing above it.
No, I think he just wanted it to be a clearer path. And this is the stage in the game where Banelings are kind of obsolete, but still, it is odd to see.
I guess
it's very odd
in
to
my mind,
see.
I'm like, I'd never get rid of tech, but yeah, I mean, I guess there's a rationale for it.
I think it's the first time I've seen a Zerg player kill their own Banelings nest like that to
Same.
open up a bigger
Yeah. I guess we'll have to wait and
avenue.
see if we see that more often, right? You do want to plug up your entrances early on in the game. Maybe it's been concluded that it's like basically obsolete to have a thin area where you could have, like, let's say he gets 8 Brood Roaches into his main, just to have your stuff kind of get stuck trying to move through a hallway. I guess. I mean, I'm trying to steel man what he's doing right now, but I don't know if I'm totally convinced.
Well, I mean, the truth is that Banelings are just kind of not really a factor in the game anymore at this point, right? So, yeah, it's an interesting choice. Some nice micro here from Dark. Oh, look at that. Is this Hero in the booth?
Yeah, this is...
That's an odd-looking Warp Prism.
Yeah. You never really get to see Overseer micro, but I guess you can do that with this.
Those 3 Roaches trading out quite well. And we're just going to power up. Here on Golden Ore, it's quite easier to defend compared to a map like Site Delta, where the expansions kind of pull you apart a little bit more. On Golden Ore, you have the high ground to play with. Well, these Banelings can try and find some value. 2 drones and a spine. Oh, 4 drones. Okay. Not too bad, I guess. And both players behind all of this light aggression are just powering up for the late game. Infestation Pit's coming in. Hydralisk Den morphing. Should be turning into a Lurker's Den in a moment.
Yeah, it's been slow games with these two. But I guess when it comes to DRG, we got to see, can he hang better than he did last time with Dark? Dark just seemed to have a way more... Well, what do you know? Okay, it's official. It's in the meta.
It's in the meta.
Everybody start attacking your Banelings nest right now. You have a rare amount of time to go to try to embarrass your friends. Yo, you didn't know that?
You didn't kill your Banelings nest?
You didn't kill your Banelings nest? You don't know about this? You're not up to date with the meta?
It is just funny to see. I think it's because, for me, like I don't see a lot of ZBZs get to this stage. Mostly watching Korean ZBZ.
Sure,
Korean ZBZ
sure.
is usually a lot more explosive than even European ZBZ, for an example. Koreans,
It's much
especially
more aggro.
Solar, when he was in his peak form of ZBZ towards the end of last year with, what, like a 90% win rate, he was taking series off of Serral. He was mixing in so many all-ins, so many cheeses. And we basically never saw this kind of late-game ZBZ or mid-game ZBZ even, but I guess it makes sense. Dark now expanding to the 12 o'clock position, is going to get caught here by DRG, who's going to be sectioning him off and actually really hammering down this fourth base. Ravager count's about even, but the Biles are doing a lot better zoning here for DRG, and now that Dark is kind of cornered here below the hatch rate, it's actually DRG who's able to take the better arc. Well, Dark with a bit of counter aggression is able to cancel a hatch there at the 6 o'clock expansion. But this hatch is going to fall, I think. Dark is trying to scramble to defend. Actually, nice Bile connections right there. Some good damage coming in.
Oh.
And DRG's winning some of these engagements, but look at the supplies right now, Tasteless.
Yeah, but Dark's doing a lot of work back where the workers are at. He's wiped out most of the workers in the main.
Yeah, 7 drones going down.
Yeah,
that counts.
We use the expression a lot, like, he's going to start a couple fires. The question is, can the other guy put it out? A decent amount of damage there in the main, about a 10-worker drop. I'm sorry I keep clearing my throat, everybody. I don't know if that's picking up in the mic, but for some reason, like, I'm extra congested today. But now we've got 10 Hydras about to pop here for DRG. I would assume for some kind of a push.
Yeah, the roach harassment continuing on here in the main base, but I don't think losing these drones hurts that much at this stage. Of course, it's not ideal. You want to have a drone count a little bit higher than what DRG has, I think.
It's even worse if you get the Overlord killed too. Now he's supply blocked.
Actually, this might be advantageous here for DRG. I mean, this army is going to hit at a timing where Dark really doesn't have the energy yet on the Vipers, and there's a lot of firepower. As soon as you add in Hydras on the back line, DRG's going to be doing a really good job of controlling the middle of this map. He's forcing these Overlords back. Dark supply blocked quite heavily right now, and with 70 drones in total, there is a window for DRG to try and get some damage done, but these are not good angles to attack into. With a high ground advantage here for Dark, he's able to get a better arc. So DRG not really able to capitalize just yet. But still, I'm liking DRG's position here. After killing that fourth base, Dark was set back to 6 Vespene Geysers for such a long time. Despite that, still a pretty sizable bank. And actually coming here into the middle of the map, even before the Vipers are out on the field, Dark chasing down, getting some key pickoffs. And the extra 15 or so drones that Dark has are really starting to pay dividends. Look at these banks just scale better and better here for Dark.
Okay, so the lurkers are out. We're going to see the first push here from DRG. Whenever you see lurker pushes, you want to always watch for counterattack. That's a lot. Oh, hold up. He's going to come in. Now he's going to walk into a wall of the lurkers here from Dark. Excuse me.
So he's going to have to back off. Those Vipers actually going to try and get some ducks off, I think, on those lurkers. Able to get 2 of them right before they burrow.
Great, and even get some of those Biles to connect, too.
Yeah, that was a good move by Dark. Dark almost notoriously does not have the best macro. He does not have the best builds, although I would say that during this series he's been macroing just fine. But his late game unit control, especially with spellcasters, is maybe second in the world only to Serral.
Oh my
for ZBZ.
God.
Oh, look at this Ravager.
We need to get this Ravager off. I'm going to get sick looking at this. Okay.
Too much caffeine, man.
Yeah.
That's me with my second latte before a GSL
that Ravager
cast.
watched the Pokemon cartoon. He didn't get the seizure warning. So the counter. Well, I shouldn't say a counterattack. He's going to have a bunch of Broad Roaches come down here from the top. And there's no base here, but he could end up slipping into the third base. He's doing a small drop. I feel like whenever you're playing against somebody like Dark, like when you see a small anything happen, you should know that he's actually hitting you somewhere else at the same time.
Yeah, and also this drop is going to set up quite well for a Nidus Canal later on in the game. It's already almost done. With 3-3 coming in. All right, Burrowed Roach is coming in. Oh, man, 2 expansions at once with the drop in the main base, too. This hatchery definitely going to be going down, and DRG is not going to commit to the attack. Instead, going to try and scramble back to defend. That hatchery barely surviving. Instead, Dark working his way down. That hatch didn't go down, right? It was at, like, a sliver of HP. I can't believe Dark didn't focus it.
Yeah. I think he kind of fumbled it back there. So, kind of a weird exchange. Dark, I mean, doing some damage, no doubt, but let's see how this counterattack actually does. A lot of lurkers with Vipers. they could crack open an otherwise well-defended position over here.
Yeah, Dark with a ton of Hydralisk popping in this moment. Yeah, something like 20 in production. 12 more in production right now. This is a huge arc of Lurkers, but still, DRG going to try and push through. Abduct's coming in, does unburrow these Lurkers. Also, Blinding Clouds dropping by Dark. I think this engagement might favor DRG a little bit here, but it's hard to tell. I mean, the Blinding Clouds are so good right now for Dark. And just one or two Lurkers burrowing here are really angering the position in the bottom left for Dark, but still DRG, he's able to kind of sever this gap between the 4th base and the 5th. And that could be a real big problem if Dark is unable to break out of this position, if the Lurkers continue to zone him away and this additional base gets taken out.
He's not in there yet, right? Like, it was a pretty scary exchange, and there's definitely a big supply lead here army-wise, but he didn't actually get the job done. Like, these Spine Crawlers are still defending pretty well. He's shuffling his Lurkers back, and there's plenty more. Oh!
And Nidus Canal going to pop into the main base.
Yeah.
10 more Lurkers in production. Lurkers entering the Nidus as well as some Hydras. Keep in mind that Hive Tech is where DRG was siphoning the HP from with those Vipers, so it's already very low on hit points.
Oh my god, a second Nidus has started. Lurkers just coming every... Oh, that's going to be it. GG.
DRG just knows.
Yeah.
That's kind of phenomenal. I mean, Dark was behind on supply. He was in a dangerous position where that additional expansion, it seemed like it was going to get taken out, but DRG just knew it was basically checkmate. With those Nidus right in the main base, that Hype Tech was going to fall.
I guess the reality is, you know, Lurkers are so slow to go back. You're never going to get up the ramp, literally, with that many there. Your natural is going to take a decent amount of damage. Your main is gone, and the 3rd base could probably be hit from the high ground. That's basically the Achilles heel.
Yeah, and DRG doesn't even really seem that shaken up from that game, honestly.
I didn't realize how quickly you could be had in that position. Guys, we have Creator versus Dark coming up next. We will be right back after this short commercial break.
Make them watch, let them know they on the clock. Any money more, once I see them, I'ma point them out. Send them up, it's gonna be a minute before they see the ground. Heat them up, talking about the maker, you gon' meet them now. Whoa, they know we near. It's getting hot up in here. You know it getting heated at the top. I'm on fire, I can't stop. I'm on fire, warm hot, turn me up a notch. 600 degrees, got me burning up the spot. Fresh about the pot. Get it till I got, make a feel flame. I'm on fire, I can't stop. I'm on fire, I can't stop. I'm on fire, I can't. South Beach, make 'em feel the heat. I can tell you fake before you even speak. I'm just heating up, you hit your peak. We not neck and neck, even in my sleep. He said start a ride, I'ma start a fire. Sweet scent of the smoke make me come alive. If you see him by my side, then they bona fide. And you can feel the heat, we don't notify. When we come, pick a side, tell them that you down to ride. It's a fire, everything is lit, lighting up the sky. In the air, long way to the ground. Better hope you fly, like the time. Only get it once before it pass you by. Oh, they know we near. It's getting hot up in here. You know it getting heated at the top. I'm on fire, I can't stop. I'm on fire, warm hot, turn me up a notch. 600 degrees, got me burning up the spot. Fresh about the pot, get it till I got, make a feel flame. I'm on fire, I can't stop. I'm on fire, I can't stop.
Fading lights coming down. Say we gave it a good run. Feel the night, all the sounds. Dance with me until we see the sun. 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 Fading lights coming down. Say we gave it a good run. Feel the night, all the sounds. Dance with me until we see the sun. Fading lights coming down. Say we gave it a good run. Feel the night, all the sounds. Dance with me until we see the sun. Dance with me until we see the sun.
We're back. O-State, we're so back.
About to go into the winners match here of Group B after two 2-0s. Dark versus DRG, a lot longer than I was anticipating from a CDZ with these guys. They both really wanted a gun for the mid game and the late game. And for Dark, that makes a lot of sense, especially against the guys going up right now, Creator. I mean, Creator, his PvZ has been so scary for so long.
Oh, yeah.
It's been his best matchup since back when we were teammates on Prime. Like, I don't even know how many years ago that was. Getting old, but he's somebody that can kind of do it all. I wouldn't say he's the best PvZ player, but he has the widest range of builds, in my opinion. I mean, he's somebody that can do really greedy play, which we've seen before in GSL, where he will try to survive with as few units as possible and go into Sky Toss as quickly as possible. We've seen him go for really cheeky all-ins as well. I mean, this guy can really just throw a mixed bag of builds at you. And you kind of got to prepare for anything, whereas Dark, I feel like he is such a good late game player in ZVP.
Yeah, I just don't feel like he has a real weak point in ZVP. Not one that I can see. Like, honestly, anytime he ever loses his ZVP, I'm like, well, look at that. I guess he can be beaten after all. Look, Creator had a crazy upset. He beat Hero 2-0. Maybe he can do it here with Dark. Honestly, I think that'd be a lot more exciting. Let's see if it's possible now.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now. Let's.
All right, Creator spawning as the blue Protoss in the bottom left, Dark the red Zerg in the top right, and I actually wasn't paying attention to the maps because usually it is so basic here in the GSL, but we actually have Post-Youth as the first map in this best of three.
That's where I'm at in my life right now.
I'll be joining you soon. It's most of the people watching this.
I'm right. Yeah, that's our viewership right now.
Yeah.
It's right in their Post-Youth.
Yeah, we're all old StarCraft fans just waiting for Father Time to take us.
And they say that when you get into your Post-Youth, you still haven't grown out of liking StarCraft. I guess that doesn't go away.
But man, this is a surprising selection. I wish I could actually go into. I'm sure I could find it if I wanted to, but I wish I can go see. Oh, look at this! We have some talented artists out here. That's photorealistic.
Hydra right there.
Yeah, welcome everybody.
Good to have you guys down here.
But
sorry.
No. I was just gonna say it is so unusual to have Post-Youth. I don't really know how this plays out, partly because I veto Post-Youth. I want to watch the pro gamers play on it and struggle. I don't want to struggle myself when I'm grinding the ladder.
Well, it's funny because usually, we'll never have that map picked until we're in a best of 7 in Game 7. It's happened to me in Artosis a couple times. We'll look at the map before a season, and then it's literally like 9 weeks of not having that map, and then we're in the finals and we see it and we're like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot it. Inner workings of this map.
I would have loved to see the draft to see who was playing the game of chicken in terms of, are you going to veto Post-Youth or am I going to veto it?
Oh, so just so everybody understands this, there's kind of a mini game that goes on with pro gamer map selections, because sometimes you have like 2 maps that you don't want to play on, but you can be pretty sure that your opponent also doesn't want that map. And so you won't veto that map because you're kind of banking on him almost vetoing it for you. But then what happens is both players bet on that, and then neither of them veto it, and then you're playing on that map to start things off.
It's a very common, very awkward situation, especially if your opponent is smart enough, which I never was when I was playing, partly why I never had any success. But if your opponent is smart enough to actually have a build just specially in store for that map in case that happens, can be really deadly. So I wonder if this map happening is just both these players naturally expecting the other guy to veto it, or if one or even both of them have a build up their sleeves specifically for Post-Youth in this situation. And for Creator, it's a really fast robo coming out. Very fast robotics facility. I want to see how much gas is actually mining there from the main base. Whether it's full saturation or not. I think it might be full. But I am very curious about where this build is going to go here for Creator, because keep in mind, one of the reasons why Post-Youth is a map that's often banned is because it has this awkward scaling and macro with these 3 gold mineral patches in the natural expansion.
That's right. So, I mean, this is going to sound silly, but it is important to point out. When you have those extra gold mineral patches, you just kind of barrel into a lot of minerals really fast. But, like for Zerg, obviously that kind of pairs up nicely with roaches. Roaches are very mineral intensive and not too much gas. But it does. I'm not sure, what this really means for each matchup to have this. I do welcome maps like this. I think ASL was doing this a little bit better than GSL, and GSL has finally caught up. We actually need to have some weirdness on some maps, guys.
I think with the new map features that are potentially going to come out in the next rotation of maps, because the patch kind of teased these features such as healing zone, such as worker-only pads, we're going to get a little bit more of a creative mix. And I'm right there with you, even though this is one of the maps that I will veto as a player. I want to see the pros play on it. I want to see them figure it out because it's so unique. It's so interesting. And for a moment, I thought Creator was going to go for some really heavy aggression with his Warp Prism off of the fast Robo, but instead it's just going to be light pressure. 2 Adepts coming in. Dark is in a good position to kind of push this away, and he's actually respecting the threat of a push quite a bit. 3 Spore Crawlers in production, 16 more Lings in production in addition to what he already has on the field. In fact, Creator is very close to actually having a worker advantage just because of how much Dark is respecting the threat of a potential timing.
Yeah.
And it is going to be a timing attack on 2 bases. 4 more gateways in production, and it's going to be +1 with charge.
Creator has always had, I think, the biggest range of play for Protoss. Like, I do feel, I don't know, maybe I'm like slowly becoming like a hero fan because I want him to win after so many GSLs. But I will say, after, he doesn't see the other 2. Just to get this out here, like, I think I see more builds with Hero than literally any other Protoss in the world.
With Creator, you mean? With
Creator, yeah.
Especially in PBZ, I'm right there with you. This guy has such a wide range.
Yeah, like, this is really cool that he fakes a 2-base timing attack only to have a later 2-base timing attack. Like, I really like it.
And it's smart because it slows down the Zerg's economy a little bit, and that hurts their chances of defending the push later because they didn't have that opportunity to really scale that well. But Dark, he's playing this very smart as the Adepts continue to pick off drones. Should be able to get at least 1 more. Yeah, 2 in total. He's going for a Baneling's Nest very quickly. And against the kind of timing attack that Creator is going to go for here, he's going to be laning so heavily onto Sentries and onto Zealots. And while the Banelings aren't quite as effective on the Sentries anymore as they used to be, the fact that a good Baneling connection could just spell disaster for these Zealots is really going to play to Dark's advantage. So I feel like he's kind of developing the tools that he needs back at home to stop this push in its tracks. And it's going to be 5 Immortals in total, Tasteless.
Yeah, that's a lot.
5 Immortals with +1 Zealots. +1 Zealots, they 2-shot Lings instead of 3-shot them.
Did he see any of the Immortals before? I mean, I know he sees it now, but like before this was coming out? Because
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's so Dark is going to be producing more Lings and Banelings, but it's really going to be the Baneling connections we have to look for. It's the Baneling connections and whether the Lings are going to be able to kind of avoid the Zealots and get surrounds on the Roaches, because if the Roaches are attacking Lings instead of Roaches, that's a big win here for Creator. But the Baneling connections, above all else, you have to keep an eye on them. If the Zealots run this without any Banelings to thwart them, Creator will just...
Dude, Hallucinated Archon, I love it.
Destroy this army, and there's so many force fields available here. 2 Tasteless, look at that!
Yeah, no Baneling speed, by the way.
So there's like a dozen force fields.
He needs to push a little bit more than this.
I love the Zealot staying in the back, by the way.
Yeah.
Creator just leveraging all of the range. Oh, he might go for those Queens on the top side. All right, attack coming in. Force field's impeccable.
Yeah, takes out 1 Bane. He's going to advance. He's going to send some Zealots in. Now, the force fields are going to lock him out, but it's only going to be for a second or 2.
Creator's playing this so patiently. Another round of force fields going to be able to stop those Banelings from getting good connections. He's trying to divide the army in 2, and he's successfully doing it. Only a couple of force fields left. And now the Zealots coming on the top side. There's no Banelings there, and Creator identifies that, so they're going to be mopping up the Lings and the Queens. And look at this sprint. Is this Marine King Prime? This is insane.
The sprint.
The sprint. The sprint, Tasteless.
That was insane. So the Banelings, there's 2 left over. The Zealots are being, they were being separated. A couple more Baneling hits connect.
There's no Banelings left for Dark. I think he's trying to morph in a couple more. No, he isn't. It's just Roaches and Lings. Creator controlled this push so well. He warped into Sentries so early. He had so much energy to work with. And Dark just got destroyed by this timing attack.
That was really exciting. What a cool build, by the way.
5 Immortals, +1 Charge Zealots, and an MC level of Sentries. That was so many force fields.
I love the force field right at the ramp, too. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess because he's trying to keep everything separated, he's unintentionally just zoned himself out and protected his 3rd base.
That Creator pushed so patiently with the ranged units that Dark, you could tell he was trying to set up this arc to fight Creator closer to the fourth base, or where the fourth base would have been, but because Creator pushed so patiently, it was very slowly just sectioning off pieces of Dark's army. Dark continuously had to micro back, and eventually he kind of put himself into a corner where the Queens were isolated on the top side. They couldn't retreat up the ramp because it's one force field to separate that ramp from the rest of the army. And Creator with just perfect patience was able to push through and demolish a Dark who had worked his way into the army composition that he needed, but Creator's army just had too much firepower and the engagement was perfect. Let's see if Creator can clean this one up on Site Delta. We're going to game number 2.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now. Let's
Okay, Creator in the bottom right and Dark in the top left. Wow, what a cool game from Creator. You know, when he's on, he really does look just so good.
He's been looking incredible today.
And, you know, the thing with Creator is it's never been like his build orders don't make sense. In fact, I really do think he has some of the best builds in all of StarCraft 2. And he does show a real range of play. Like, he can do macro games versus Zerg where he'll like go for carriers and turtle and play a very slow game. Or he'll do these crazy timing attacks like that one we've basically never seen before. The issue usually with Creator is if he doesn't hit all his marks. Idra was like this, actually. Like, if Idra fumbled the build early on, he would just, like, rage quit and leave. And with Creator, he's not going to rage quit and leave, but he is going to rage. And then what happens when you rage is then you go, okay, now I'm mad at myself for raging. And then, you know, you get thrown off. And so in the years, decade plus, I guess, that I've been casting Creator, I've seen these games where he, like, for the first half of the day plays like a god and then loses a War Prism somewhere in the series, and instead of kind of, you know, misstepping for a second and then getting right back in the action, then it goes downhill. I want to see if that happens again today, because he's basically, he's 3-0 today. He just smashed Dark in a timing attack, which I can't even really remember the last time I've seen Dark lose to a Protoss, just sort of having enough units at a certain moment and pushing. So, I mean, and look, I think it's almost cooler if we have Creator in the Final Four.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, that's a very cool narrative.
He is playing out of his mind right now. And, I mean, his PvC's always been world-class. He's always been one of the best PvC players in the world. But given how good he looked even against Hero in that opening set, I kind of want to see his PvT. And that's what we would get if he advances to the top 4, because Maru and Kira, they're waiting for the semifinalists.
Yeah.
From Group B on opposite sides of the bracket. The winner of this group going to go up against Maru. The loser of this group going to go up against Kira, who did place first in Group A last week. I want to see more of Creator playing like this. I feel like he's playing some of the best StarCraft we've seen from him in a very long time today.
Yeah, he's looked really, really good. So this game, obviously, it's going to be a different one just because of the map itself and the way it's designed.
By the way, very smart of Creator to keep this adept back instead of shading it forward to get some scouting off. Was able to prevent those 2 lings from getting into the main base. It's going to be an Oracle coming in from Creator. This is looking a lot more standard in terms of PvZ. Dark, his Overlord, has been kind of skirting the outside of Creator's base. Keep in mind, in game number 1, Creator did go for a relatively fast Stalker. I think it was Adept Stalker that he opened with on post-Youth. And Dark, it seems he kind of has that in the back of his head with how passive he's being with this Overlord scouting. He does not want to risk losing this Overlord in case there is a Stalker in the main base of Creator. And as a result, he's not going to get the scout off on the Oracle.
Yeah. But I don't know how much this is going to get done here.
Huh.
So 3 Adepts up here at the front. Dark is continuing to drone up heavily. And we're going to have the probe come out here to make the 3rd base.
Creator playing this very patiently. He's actually just waiting until he has a 2nd Oracle coming out to go for the harassment. And until then, this Oracle just on guard duty in case there was a big Ling Flood coming in from Dark on that 3rd. Smart, patient move coming in from Creator. 2nd Oracle about to finish. 3rd one in production. Let's see if he moves out with these 2 Oracles. 5 Queens out for Dark. 1 more in production. I feel like with 2 Oracles like this, there should be some angles where Creator can get 4, maybe even 5 drones. We'll have to see. Because typically the first Oracle on its own is able to get 2 or 3. That's kind of the trade that you get. Oh, Creator being very patient. I think if he dived there, he would have gotten 3 or 4 drones at least. But he did not know there wasn't a Spore Crawler, so instead going to work his way through the middle. But Dark's Queen movement just really on point.
Yeah, a very quiet game to start things off.
Oh.
He's going to send some Adepts up here now with the 2 Oracles. When you have 2 Oracles like this and the Adepts are in the middle of the map, the Lings can never kill them. You know.
And I wonder if he's just going to shade forward because there aren't that many Lings out on the map right now. More are in production, 10 more in production, in fact.
He's going to. This is basically like Terran with 2 Medivacs and Marines just killing creeps, creep tumors. Behind this, you know, we have the +1 attack upgrade. We've got some more gateways coming down here. So Creator's setting up to be in a really healthy spot on the 3 bases that he's got.
And I love how passive he's being with these Adepts and Oracles. He's just taking map control, but he's not overcommitting.
Look at that, where that second pylon is placed on the left, just ready for like a ton of gateways to just be made over there. Perfect real estate for mass gateways a little bit later on.
He's also up against Dark, so it's a good idea to have a pylon in the corner.
It also sees Nidus networks.
Yeah, I feel like Dark does a Queenling Nidus at least 1 game every PvZ series. These Oracles still with full HP coming in. Barely any damage on them at all.
Yeah, just a little bit on the hull just now. But overall, he's been very, very conservative with the Oracle movement.
Yeah, and oftentimes
we'll
see
a third Oracle back at home, by the way.
Yeah, just playing very defensively. Yeah. Oftentimes we'll see Protoss players just kind of trade out the hull of the Oracle for 2 or 3 drones. You'll get that Oracle down to maybe 2 or 3 hits away from dying from a Queen and then back off. And that's worth it for the couple of drone damage. But Creator's just been really prioritizing the hit points on these Oracles. He wants to use them basically all game long. Because he hasn't really activated the Pulsar Beam, I think, even once, the energy attack on those Oracles, he's going to have a lot of energy back at home to set up stasis traps, and he's basically playing for at least the mid game with the double Robo coming in. 4th base already getting set up. Photon Cannons warping in. This is Creator playing a nice passive macro PvZ.
Some shades coming up, basically trying to see, you know, is there any tech being revealed here? We have some Hydralisks being morphed. Look at this little attack over here. He should be able to... Oh, no, I guess he can't kill this. I'm sorry.
There's a little bit too many Roaches and Lings, I think, here for Creator.
But he can set up a little foothold out here if he wants. Protoss taking a 4th base means we're not going to have the, you know, the big climactic push just yet. He is doing a good job killing these creep tumors, though.
Yeah, and with no melee attack coming in from Dark and a relatively low Ling count, there isn't really much he can do to push away these units. Look at the creep spread in the center of the map. It's been very good in front of the 3rd and the 4th, but over here where Creator has been patrolling, there's basically no creep spread at all. I mean, the defense has just been, or not the defense, but the creep denial has been so on point for Creator thus far this game. Now, double Colossus in production. This is a little bit scary for Creator, though, because Dark's Hive Tech is so quick. He's already getting Lurker Den up. Vipers have started, and Vipers are kind of the answer that Zerg has to a Robobig army of Protoss. Abduct's coming in, especially before High Templar are on the field, and feedback is a viable option to try to kind of zone out those Vipers, is a huge threat to the Protoss army, and given the fact that Thermal Lance is only just now starting, I don't think we're going to see Creator move across the map until he has at least 4 Colossi out, and now Dark, he's hitting the power spike, so he's going to be able to chase down these Stalkers. The Oracles were not guarding them that well, so a couple will fall to the Lings. But this timing is looking a little bit scary. I think Creator is kind of trying to gun for a +2 timing with a ton of Colossi and Stalkers, but if those Vipers gather enough energy, this could be an anti-timing almost. Nidus Canal also coming in. Lurkers are coming online, but Creator, if he attacks right now before those Vipers get a lot of energy and before Dark's army is able to max.
This could be the perfect timing. The Lings are going to come in. The Stalkers are a little bit too far forward here. He needs to get these Colossi up here. They do eventually meet up. He's got the whole area behind himself littered with stasis wards. So Zerg, there's no way that Zerg can know about that. You could suspect it, right? If you see Oracles, you know that that's a possibility in the game.
Now he knows about the Vipers. First Abduct coming in, second Abduct as well. Those 2 Colossi get taken out. Oh, barely saved on 1 HP. That Colossi is going to be able to survive. But still, the standing army on the ground here for Dark is so big. I mean, this is what I was talking about with those Vipers. They're just able to really spell disaster for the Ro.8 army. Unless you have counterplay here as Protoss, it's difficult to make it happen. Oh, the War Prism gets taken off by the Viper.
That was awesome.
Yeah, great micro there by Dark. Again, one of the best spellcaster micro Zergs we have.
Yeah, 100%. He manages to swipe that War Prism with the Colossus in it. He takes it out. And, I mean, it does feel like Creator just has a lot less presence in this game now. Dark is essentially maxed out. And, you know, a lot of the complex parts of the army for Creator here have been wiped out. He's starting back again from zero here. He's going Immortal Disruptor, but I think it's going to be a while before, oh, well, and here's the crazy thing. He's going to warp in, or Nidus right by that if he can get in there.
Yeah, Dark trying to set up attacks everywhere he possibly can. His Creator is going to be hammering the fourth base. Oh, these Disruptor shots could be good, but Dark notices. Nice splits mitigating the damage. Another Nidus going to connect at the fourth base of Protoss as Dark is eventually going to deflect these Stalkers attacking his fifth. Looks like on the minimap there is a Zealot run by as well towards the 12 o'clock expansion, but I feel like Creator might have just taken a little bit too much damage. I don't think he can stabilize from this position. There really isn't an army on the ground that can deal with Lurkers, especially now that they have range and missile attack level 2. I feel like we're seeing the dying breaths of Protoss in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he had, I think, an interesting lead up, but Dark, you know, he is kind of the king at not dying to pushes. So, a great game. Dark ties it up 1-1. Just one more game remaining to decide who is going to be advancing here into the round of 4. I think Creator is going to be really hungry to try to win this. You know, he is a player that, you know, sometimes he gets, you know, round of 8 or deep. Sometimes he doesn't. And, you know, he's been playing in GSL for 13 years. Let's see what kind of build he can come out with here. Dark is basically, like, consistently always top 3 in Korea, right? It's been like that forever. There's definitely seasons he is #1. But, you know, I think Creator went for a very straightforward, orthodox macro PBZ, and he tried to do it against the best of the best. Maybe he can try something a little bit weirder.
We're going to go to Oceanborn for game number 3. This game's getting ready to load up. Creator, a player that kind of plays with his heart on his sleeve, did not seem too shaken up from that game. He is still ready to go here as we lock in for game number 3. The winner of this map is going to face Maru in the round of 4. Will it be Creator? Will it be Dark? Let's find out. Our game is loading in.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now. Let's.
All right, bottom right is Creator, top left is Dark. Yeah, I like that Creator tried that build there, but I think, you know, again, Dark kind of reasserting why he's just, it's hard to play standard play and beat him. You know what I mean? He's, I think maybe do something cheesy, maybe do something weird. I think another timing could be good, but you can't do the same kind of cool timing we saw in game 1. Because obviously that map is, you know, one of a kind.
Yeah, and I think for Creator, that timing attack, it's one that we see relatively often for Protoss players in Korea. It's not exactly meta, but going for 2 Colossus and Blink Soccer is relatively early like that, and then building to 4 Colossi with +2 in Thermal Lance.
Yeah.
It's the kind of attack that can absolutely kill a Zerg if you gain momentum, but Dark didn't really suffer any damage in the early game. Creator did a good job of controlling the creep, but he didn't really kill any drones, and Dark, being the late game enjoyer that he is in ZVP, getting the very fast hive. Unfortunately for Creator, Vipers are the answer for the tech, and I think that's why Creator wasn't really distraught after losing that map, the way that we sometimes see him be after he loses a game like that, because at the end of the day, I mean, he just had Vipers out. That is the answer to the timing attack that you were trying to go for. You missed the window. It's not the kind of gut-wrenching moment that we see Creator kind of get himself tied up in a knot about. If you lose the Warp Prism with Disruptors or something like that early on in the game, or if he suffers some kind of unforgivable blow in his own eyes because he holds himself in very high esteem. So I'm happy that Creator is going to be coming into game 3 with kind of a clear head. And I don't think we're going to see the same timing attack coming in from Creator in this one.
Yeah, I don't think he can do it. I mean, so far this build looks similar, but let's see what kind of game he's going to bring us here.
I mean, it's the cookie cutter
Wait,
macro
no,
PBZ opener, right?
but, you know, maybe he goes for carriers or something like that here.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. It's like what Creator did in that last game, that is like a very, how do I say this? If I was going to teach somebody PBZ, I'd probably be like, run this build.
It's so funny you say that because Estrella taught me that build with replays
really?
of him. I think him versus Rex. This is like last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. It's the kind of build that you teach somebody.
Yeah.
You get the third base, you get the Colossus up, and you go for this slow that kills them.
You know, sometimes when you have like a friend that's learning, you're like, okay, I know that like 2-base timing attacks are fun, but like you need to learn this other way to play.
Yeah.
Because you're just like learning how to play around normal play. Like I had that problem too. I like always want to do these kind of weird things I saw pro gamers do, and eventually I'm like, okay, I need to like just play the game normally.
Yeah, it's so funny. You kind of hit the nail on the head right there. It's exactly that kind of build.
And so I think he went for that, but I don't think that's going to work against Dark. I think you need to have your own kind of twist involved here. But I think maybe Carrier late game. You know, Creator actually, I feel like I've seen him almost never lose with Carrier's late game versus Zerg.
Like almost a stats caliber level of late game.
Yeah, where I almost look at it and I go, why don't you just do this more?
Yeah, I feel like we mostly see him do it on maps that are a little bit easier to split than Oceanborn.
Yeah.
Like Alcyone is the kind of map that springs to mind. I believe he did that in GSL Season 1, I think, of this year, or was the last GSL of last year? I mean, they all start to blend together after a while, but he's really shown some great split map late game PBZ. I would love to see it from him again. I feel like if we don't see it in this game, and if Creator goes to a loser's match, if he plays against DRG, I know it's a lot of ifs, but if he gets another PBZ series, we're definitely going to see at least one of those maps, I think, from Creator. He's just so good at that style. He's one of the best Sky Toss players in the world, I think. And it's hard to execute it the way that Creator does because you kind of need to thread the needle in terms of not making too many low-tech units, which sounds simple, but if you're up against a Zerg that is relatively aggressive, it's hard to do, especially one that's trying to pull you apart with attacks and a bunch of different spots on the map.
Yeah.
And Creator is one of the best players in the world at just knowing exactly the right amount of static defense at each base, shield batteries and cannons, having the perfect spread of Archons and Templar at those expansions to mitigate the threat of any kind of counterattacks coming in. Great Oracle harassment coming.
Jeez.
Oh, you really wanted that fourth Throne.
Yeah.
Was that a transfuse on the Throne?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, 3 is acceptable, 4 is not.
So, I mean, right now this is the same build.
Mm-hmm.
We could see a deviation. I guess we got to wait for the Robos to start and see, you know, if he's going to really just try to do the same thing again. You know, it's also possible when you cast these games, sometimes, like, there's some glaring build order error. Those are always, like, really evident to the player and not obvious to, like, casters and observers, where, like, maybe he, like, missed a pylon somewhere while we're talking, or
that's possible.
Just got, like, some tech up later that he thought the building made, and then he goes back and he's like, oh, and just starts it anyways, and maybe that's why the timing wasn't good. Maybe he does actually the same thing, but it's just, like, faster. Bigger, better, faster, stronger.
Another thing is if Creator does decide to go for the same opening set of units and structures, if these steps do get caught by the Lings, one of them will fall. Oh, even the second one dies.
Mm-hmm.
Nice catch there by Dark, but back to the point, as long as Creator is scouting actively, if he sees the Hive timing and he goes for the same build, he should be able to abandon ship, basically, and not full commit to the Colossus timing attack. Because you play back at home, you get High Templar out, and you can kind of parry the Vipers if they do come in with those lurkers. There is a world where you can defend. Going for the same robo timing, scouting the Hive, knowing that you've been preempted, you can fall back and play a macro game behind it. Because you're getting the upgrades, you're still expanding, you're taking a fourth base. You don't need to play the all-in version of it or the really timing attack-centric version of that we saw from Creator in game number 1.
So, in what has been a very slow game, you know, we're seeing that fourth base be taken. Fifth base not quite yet here for Dark. The fourth base is being seized here by Creator. Dark has started his fifth base. I started that sentence just a little bit too soon.
Oh. And it's Hydraling Bane coming in from Dark.
Yeah, so Dark actually wants to come in here and just basically plow through the fourth base. So he's going to try to hit him in development. We were kind of talking about, like, well, will this game look like game 2? And if so, will the push be better? It's actually going to be the Zerg attacking first.
Yeah, and Creator is kind of going for the same build, but this does feel a little bit slower than he did in game number 2. The thing is, should he get those 2 Colossi online before the Hydras and Lings hit, it's one of the perfect answer units to this timing attack if you're able to get them in a good position. Link Stalkers, they don't take a lot of damage from the Banelings should they come in. And Colossi do a great job of cleaning up both Hydras and the Lings on the ground.
Yeah, he needs to activate these Oracles here.
Oh, he's actually just playing it very patiently. I like that he saved the energy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you got to turn that on. A lot more Lings are being made here.
Oh, it's Disruptors coming in. I think if he identifies that this is going to be a Hydra Ling timing attack, he will probably go into Colossi instead. I feel like Colossi is just the better unit in this situation. It's one Disruptor into Colossus, okay. I like that the more reliable splash damage is coming in. And Dark is not droning, by the way. He's going for +2. Hydra speed, Baneling speed, and a ton of Lings. So just like you said, Tasteless, he's going to be hammering down that 4th base.
Ooh.
The Stasis catches a lot of Lings moving into the center of the map in this stage of the game. I think alarm bells should be firing here for Creator. He should have an idea that this is coming. More shield batteries and cannons getting morphed in.
A lot of Banes. So about a minute from now, there's going to be more damage available to the Zerg in the game than there will be for the rest of the game. So this is like really the most important moment.
This is almost an all-in coming in from Dark.
Yeah.
He has to get a lot of damage done.
And if Protoss can parry this, then Protoss is going to be in a very healthy position in the late game. But there's also a chance that this just flattens Creator.
Yeah, it's a lot of Banelings coming in, Tasteless. Already one Colossus out. There is a lot of energy on these sentries, plus Stasis Traps already thrown down to retreat to for Creator. Creator, keep in mind, he already has a lot of shield batteries and cannons. Dark now coming in. First Stasis Trap only catches a couple of Lings. The second one as well. Doesn't get the big shot off. The Disruptor shot catches nothing too, but the army here for Creator's in such a good position that Dark is just getting thwarted. This timing attack fell flat on its face.
Yeah, he shut that down so well. I mean, almost nothing was even killed. I was kind of imagining this is just a bunch of burning Protoss buildings and, you know, Creator barely survives. He's totally shut this down.
Yeah, the Baneling's almost coming in here and kind of a Hail Mary to try and catch some probes. Only one of them goes down. And now Creator is going to have Archons, Colossi with Thermal Lance and a ton of Stalkers on the ground to launch a counterattack. I would be surprised if we didn't see him go for a Warp Prison because Dark right now back at home, he is scrambling. He's throwing down the Infestation Pit because he knows he needs to get Vipers out as soon as possible. That's the only answer, really, that he can go for the tech of Creator. And that means that Creator is going to have this massive window where he can hit a timing attack on the 4th or the 5th base, should he decide to seize that opportunity. And I think him moving forward with Stalkers like this, he's going to know that he has that chance.
Okay, nice surround here, but I think the Creator tanked that just the perfect amount to allow a lot of those Oracles to just mow that down. Here comes the push. Now, this should be harder for Dark to defend, but we really just need to watch where the Banelings connect.
Yeah, Hive Tech only about halfway done. Lurker Tech halfway done as well. And keep in mind, those Lurkers, up until they get their Hive Tech upgrades, they aren't that great against Protoss on the ground. So even if Dark is able to buy enough time by sacrificing a base for those Lurkers, it's really going to come down to the Vipers. He needs to get them out if he wants to stop this push. I don't think his army on the ground, unless he has the perfect spread, can do it.
Okay, a push coming here. Banelings coming from the bottom. Are they going to collect on these Colossi? Oh!
It's a really good art coming in for Dark, actually. Oh my god, I cannot believe how well he traded that out.
That could not have been better.
I mean, we were saying Dark needs basically a miracle engagement to come in, but he basically got it.
Yeah, there was literally nowhere the Colossi could be where they wouldn't take the Baneling damage. Like, it was actually a perfect surround.
That was insane. Dark almost baited him into attacking the 4th base in the top side and then setting up for this huge swing of Banelings on the bottom. And that didn't spell the end of the game here for Creator by any means. If anything, the game is still relatively even, but that's going to mean that Dark now has enough time to get the Vipers out. Well, to get the Lurker upgrades, should he decide to go for them.
He's got a lot more oxygen now.
Yeah, he basically...
Like, he's going to be able to do kind of whatever he wants for the time being. Now, Creator's just going to go for a later game. He's going to expand. He's going to disengage, other than sending small units like these Zealots to come in here and harass.
Creator's going to be kicking himself a little bit because that was a golden opportunity to potentially close this game out. I think if he had a little bit better scouting, if he had Revelation with those Oracles to see the full army spread of Dark, that he can take the fight that he needs. He can retreat into a corner, he can drop the force fields, and he can prevent those Banelings from getting the connections that they did. Instead, we're basically reset. Protoss and Zerg both tried a timing attack in the mid-game. Both timing attacks failed almost spectacularly, but in such a way that the game is equalized.
Lings are going to come down here. I don't see anything to defend. He actually might be able to pick off this Nexus. Well, a Warpin and Stalkers are going to deny that. The Warp Prism's very low on HP, so it can't even get into that position if the... Oh, well, I guess there's a second one coming in here. But the other one can't get in there at all, so that's basically a dud.
Creator also going for a double expand right now, is also getting Warp Prism speed, so I love this coming in from Creator. I'm hoping we see a Stargate thrown down by him relatively soon. Once he stabilizes on the ground, I want to see additional Stargates. I want to see a Fleet Beacon, because if you commit to a pure ground army against Dark, that's one of the toughest opponents in the world to beat with pure ground if they have Lurkers. I mean, maybe only Serral is harder in the world to stop than a Dark that has his full tech tree unlocked with Nidus Canals, with Lurkers, with Vipers, and with a full 5-6 base economy set up. I'm very scared for the late game of Creator if he doesn't go into that tech, but for now, instead, he's just focusing on the ground, at least up until he's maxed on, what is this, 6 bases. And now he's going for the Stargate, the Fleet Beacon.
So we're going to go into Supreme late game. This is post-failed push. And again, I think Creator is really good at this. Now, Banelings and Lings are going to be on the side here to hit this base. Oh, he didn't see that.
Yeah, just barely missed him.
Okay.
Nidus Canal in the natural expansion gets spotted by Creator instantly.
Yeah, he's going to see this. The Immortal can just deny this. There's no way for it to come in. He also sees these Banes. Oh, great shots. Not a single Bane going to connect to a single target. Hold position Lings aren't even going to get a single probe. So right now, Creator is playing the game of his life as far as shutting down anything that would curb growth in this super late game PvZ.
Yeah, I feel like Creator and Stats are just the two best players in the world at doing this, splitting off their armies in such a way that it's really hard for Zerg to find any window or any angle of attack unless they commit a huge amount of resources. And
now, with the carriers coming out here, it's a little bit like Brood Lords, where like they're very strong and they're hard to fight head on, but you can kind of just play keep away. Another Nidus is going to come here in the main.
Oh, Creator needs to spot this. Oh. He needs to stop this Nidus from getting set up in the main base. Okay, he does see it.
Okay.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
Honestly, for Creator, I wouldn't mind him throwing down some cannons just in the corners of his base right now.
Yeah, I think that's actually a smart idea.
Because Dark, he needs to trade out this army. He needs to do it well. He has basically no Hydra. He has no Hydralisks at all. He has no anti-hero except the 4 queens.
Yeah.
So these Lurkers need to find damage. The
he has to like devolve
Lings.
the Lurkers back into Hydras.
Yeah. Once the carriers are out, this is really Dark's window to get big damage done with the ground army that he has before the carriers reach critical mass. And the first carrier is about to enter the field now. But Dark has been able to pull Creator apart a little bit now. He's getting damage done. The 6th base was taken out. 25 probes in total also falling. Now Creator with 90+ workers. Oh, the Nidus Canal popped in the natural expansion, but Creator actually in a really good position to deal with this, dropping down Storms, coming in with the Immortals from this angle. I mean, the carriers are going to be out in a moment. These Lurkers should get cleaned up.
I mean, the Lurkers, they're only going to be able to go so far, right? Now, 33 probes is a pretty big kill. Oh, it's too bad the DT can't get in there because of the Overseer.
Looks like he try anyway.
Yeah, it gets fished in there anyways. But these Lurkers are going to go down.
That's an expensive trade here for Dark.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of gas.
And I think Creator is actually still hiding the carrier tech. I think that might be a conscious decision.
Yeah, no, I think it's very deliberate state. I think the idea is basically he wants to make it look like he's trying to recreate the push again. And, oh, there's a Lurker down here too. I didn't even realize this.
Yeah, with the Dark Templar, just 2 stealthy boys hanging out.
Yeah, 2 invisible boys.
Well, Storms drop right now. Creator should be able to take down this expansion.
So the carrier is just in the back. I think this is eventually just going to be revealed here. Oh my God!
It's getting so much done.
How many kills on this Lurker?
0.
Somehow
I think it was
0.
just the Lings and the Banelings that got all the damage done earlier.
Yeah.
But it's denying the mining for so long.
Not very other times I go, how many kills in this unit? And it's 0. Okay, I think that's a first here for this GSL.
This is the Warp Prism. This is the caster version of the Warp Prism getting sniped. By the way, it was a little bit funny that Creator went for the recall to deal with that. And I don't know if it was intentional, but he recalled the carrier as well. So the tech has been fully revealed.
Yeah.
There are Hydras on the map. Vipers will be joining them shortly, but still there's enough on the ground for Dark to be able to take down this expansion again. It does get canceled. Creator is going for +2 air weapons and a mothership. Actually, the Hydra is able to focus down that carrier. I thought that was going to get away for sure. But it is so important for Creator that he's able to reach critical mass with the carriers in the sky. And oh, watch out, that carrier might also get sniped. Very low on HP. It is going to fall. A little bit sloppy micro coming in from Creator right now. But still, the standing army, it is potent Tasteless. 15 more Hydras are getting replaced, but right now, not that many on the ground, and 4 carriers in total paired with these Colossi and the Storms. This base over here at 1 o'clock might once again get taken out. There aren't even that many lurkers left. Only one? Only one lurker at the 4th base. Dark has traded so many of them out.
Okay, he's moving in. Dark has to hang on here.
It's all about the abducts right now here for Dark.
Okay, so he's going to go right into the heart.
Okay, surround coming in from Dark with Hydras and Lings. The firepower really not that much.
Yeah, he doesn't pull this carrier back. What? Okay, well, it actually still lasted a little bit longer than I thought.
That might just be it.
That's going to be it. GG.
Wow.
Creator is killing it. He beats Dark. He moves on. He might win this GSL.
That is so exciting.
That's
Creator
so
beating
cool.
one of the best Zerg players we have here in the GSL. Dark going down in the late game after Creator failed to push. In game number 3, he's able to fight back. I mean, Dark just overextended a little bit, and Creator did not lose his cool. All right, he's going to advance to the round of 4. Dark looks almost a little bit shaken up after that game.
Well,
I
gotta say that was a very refreshing late game PvZ. I mean, normally Protosses fail with pushes and then they just they fizzle out.
And the crowd also exploding in cheers here for Creator.
Creator can't even hide his smile.
I mean, as we've seen time and time again, he's a player that just has his heart on his sleeve. This win means so much for him. Let's go to the interview now with Creator. Well, Creator, you made it to the semifinals. That was a tough series, and you only dropped 1 match on your path to the semifinals. How are you feeling? And Creator says, well, I'm feeling really happy, and honestly, in the last map, I felt like I was in such an advantageous position, but I kind of threw away. So after that, I just didn't give up. I tried to maintain myself in that game, and I was able to close out the win. Well, today you played against Hero and Dark in Series number 1 and Series number 2, the favorites to get out from this group, but you're able to beat them both. Creator's like, yeah, honestly, after taking both of the top dogs down, I've gained a lot of confidence. And now that I've qualified both for the GSL Round of 4 and the Esports World Cup, there's only real one objective for me, and that's becoming a champion. Well, Creator, if you want to win the GSL, you're going to have to get through Maru in the semifinals. How do you feel about that? Hey, Maru, you're watching this right now. Go easy on me. I thought he was going to call Maru out for a second, but he's like,
oh, shit!
Well, Creator, honestly, today your mentality seemed a lot stronger. You didn't get shaken up by any of the losses. You were very focused. You're able to beat the strongest Protoss in the GSL, the strongest Zerg in the GSL. Now you have to go up against the strongest Terran. How's your PVT? Well, balance-wise, I feel like Protoss has gotten a little bit better than before as a result of the most recent patch, so I feel like it's a lot easier for me to come into these games with a winning mindset. You know, at the studio today, Creator, there were a lot of fans that were cheering for you to win. Any words you want to say to them? Well, to my fans, both in the studio and around the world, I am truly thankful. Thank you so much for supporting me. We're going to have the GSL Finals in Sangam next week. It's going to be a really exciting time. Come there, cheer for me. And I hope to have even better performance there against Mario.
Hell yes. We'll be right back, guys. DRG vs. Hero coming up next.
Strong. 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 Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. God,
guard my soul. All of my thoughts be dark like coal. Face down in the water I float. I try to speak my mind but I choke. I'm on the tightrope. Tired I can't cope. No lying, no hope. The lying might show. Up to the party, y'all don't want smoke. Energize the body, raise up the army. Right now, tell me who you are, get in the car. Right now, reach for the stars, I want it all. Right now, tell me who you are, get in the car. Right now, reach for the stars, I want it all. Right now, tell me who you are, get in the car. Right now, reach for the stars, I want it all. Right now, just into the car, fighting no war. Right now, we shitting on y'all, I'm in the storm. Right, put your feet on the ground, look around. It's the siege and we back in your town, burning it down. You've been waiting too long for the sound. Time is now, got you hanging on every single word, verb and now. Give you what you been waiting for now, what you praying for. This the type of we slaving for. Get you another hit, I know you craving more. I'm in this, but they go Super Saiyan boy. I am a higher being, whole world at my command. I got the whole damn planet here in the palm of my hand. Watch out, back out, wait up, my wake up, stay up, they gon' get it, they gon' take us, raise up, we got color, they try and gray us, you are not listening to the greatest, right now.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time to knock one of these players out. This is Hero versus DRG. Again, it's kind of been a crazy day. First of all, Hero was beaten by Creator. I thought that was probably going to be the most obvious result, as a Hero would just 2-0 Creator, right? He's been voted the favorite for the group. Then Creator beat Dark, which again, it's like, what world am I in right now? So Creator's out of the group. DRG versus Hero. Look, I think Hero is, again, the clear favorite. I think Hero probably is also supposed to beat Dark here. But let's see what happens.
Yeah, I almost would be surprised if Hero did not advance to the round of 4 with how well he's been playing in offline. I mean, it was an upset that he lost to Creator, but PvP is kind of a mysterious matchup. You can't really glean too much about where a player is at purely based on a 2-game set or a best of 3 at a PvP or any mirror matchup for that matter, really. So for Hero now against DRG, I feel like this is, I mean this with no disrespect to DRG, but from Hero's perspective, this is almost a warm-up match. For Dark
sure,
and
yeah,
PvZ, getting ready to go into that final patch, because I guarantee you that Hero, coming into this series, he's expecting to win. He wants to make it to the round of 4. He has that expectation of himself, and by all means, he should. He's one of the best Protoss players in the world, if not the best Protoss player right now.
Yeah. All right, guys. Game 1 of this best of 3 with DRG and Hero is starting now.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now. Let's
DRG spawning as the blue Zerg in the top right. Hero, the red Protoss in the bottom left here on Alcyone.
Okay. We've got a blocker probe coming out here to deny the hatchery that's going to be planted.
I love how standard this has become in PvZ, by the way.
Yeah, makes sense.
I remember back when, I guess it wasn't that long ago, but back when there was a lot of discussion and debate. Oh, Hero, are you actually going to go for it? Okay, wait. For a moment there, I was wondering how to look at the minimap on our little tiny monitor.
You can literally
and see
just ruin the game for the.
Yeah.
If you actually get that block up and then deny the other hatch, it's like you might as well leave.
But there was a long time where players were kind of debating when they should throw out that first probe going for the scout to block the hatchery.
You require more GSL matches.
I love
hey,
that.
It's the Overmind.
It is the Overmind.
Yeah. We don't talk about the Overmind enough. Kerrigan
What
kind of
happened
stole
to the
show.
Overmind? He got
got killed by
a DT,
Kerrigan.
right? Oh, was Kerrigan?
Didn't Kerrigan
Wasn't
turn on
it
the
DT?
Overmind?
I don't know.
Uh-oh, we're not supposed to be StarCraft casters. We just exposed ourselves as
No, it's
frauds.
fine. Everybody knows the StarCraft story sucks. we're here for the gameplay.
Yeah, it's not exactly Shakespeare. It's
Yeah.
I much prefer the some other games. No, I thought she turned on him. Yeah, she.
Maybe she
I
did.
think
For
Kerrigan
whatever reason, I
betrayed
thought
him.
it was like, didn't like Zeratul kill some?
Yeah,
Something.
he did something important.
He stabbed somebody.
Yeah.
He did DT stuff in some Zerg base.
But yeah, I'm
I
not
can't
sure.
remember.
I don't know.
I played all the campaigns, by the way, multiple times. They're great. It's just
No, it's
this story. I skip
But
every
also,
cutscene. I'm
there's something
terrible.
about my. I totally stopped paying attention. Like I'm playing the Warcraft 3 campaign right now, and like I still don't even quite know what the story is. So I kind of space out when the cutscenes come up.
I think for most RTS campaigns, at least this is my perspective, is you kind of need to play them young to get into the story. Like the Warcraft 3 campaign, I'm
Yeah.
very into the story because I played it when I was like 11 or 12.
Yeah, well, I think. Yeah, no, I think you're right.
I played some of the StarCraft 1 campaign on Nintendo 64 because that was how I played StarCraft 1 as a kid.
But I guess the other thing too to keep in mind is that like once you really your brain attaches to the RTS and you're looking at it in a very specific way, I think it's kind of hard to be enthralled in the story, at least for me.
Besides, the stories still feel like they're very much targeted towards the younger audience. You're trying to capture the imagination of young kids, right?
Yeah. Well, I do find with a lot of games, if I go back and play them, if I thought they had great stories, like a lot of JRPGs, I'm like, oh no, it's okay. Like it's pretty good, but it's not 60 hours of my time good. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, hey, look at this. It's actually a Phoenix opening coming in from Hero. I saw this Stargate, and I almost just played through the script in my mind that we would have an
Yeah.
Oracle coming out,
Yeah.
but instead it's actually a Phoenix opening.
and it's going to be an Oracle after that.
All right.
So this is going to be probably an Overlord clearing Phoenix.
I suppose he identified this Overlord in the middle of the map, and as Protoss, you're almost remiss not to take that Overlord knowing that there's another one in your natural expansion. Also, Okay, he messed up the wall. I was so confused by this pylon getting worked in. But it's just Hero not knowing how to wall in again. I feel like of all the Protoss players, he has the worst walls in the pro scene by
this is weird.
a
that this keeps
ridiculous
happening.
degree.
Yeah.
I mean, Alcyone, respectfully, it is one of the harder maps to wall in.
Right.
It's a little bit funky. You have to wall a little bit further back than feels natural. Otherwise, you don't have enough space to work with. And so I think that's what happened to Hero, is he walled a little bit too front. But I mean, this guy plays like he's a grinder. This is the kind of guy that, like, I will go play my ladder games, and the search queue for Hero will get so long that he'll match into me and just say, hi, State, and then proceed to kill me with an Oracle and 2 Adepts in, like, 5 minutes. But, I mean, if I'm hitting him on the ladder, he's playing a lot of ladder. Let me just say that. And so for him to continuously mess up the wall-ins like this, it's just, it's funny. I can't believe it's still happening. Hero is really the Protoss' Protoss. This guy micros with F2 and selects his army units and doesn't know how to wall in. It's great. He's the embodiment of all of us watching at home.
Oh my god, it actually lived. Okay, I thought for sure that was going to be picked off. Forge and 3 more gateways. Another slow PVZ to start things off. I do like the tagging, though. He's going to be able to take out some of those creep tumors. He's going for a Glaives timing.
A little interesting doing this off the back of the Phoenix and the Oracles.
Yeah, it's a much slower Glaives timing.
And Hero typically he'll open the same way that Creator did in a lot of his sets earlier on against Dark, where he will go for 6 Adepts with a couple of Oracles and just exert map control. Though Hero, he's usually a bit more ambitious with those Adepts. He'll try to trade them out for drones quite often. But in this case, it will be Glaives. Now, the Roach Warren is getting thrown down here by DRG. Another gas also getting taken to start powering up his economy for those Roaches. But Hero is playing his cards very close to his vest. He's only showing a handful of Adepts, and honestly, even if Hero were to show 6 Adepts at this stage in the game, it wouldn't be that weird for DRG. It's quite typical for Hero to go for 6 Adepts with Oracles at this stage in the game. But this is going to be a lot more than 6 Adepts. 13 in total, paired up with 2 Oracles. Glaives is going to finish in about 10 seconds to pair up perfectly with this Glaives timing, and it's only just now getting revealed to DRG exactly what is coming in. The Roach Warren's finished, but the first 3 Roaches are in production.
Yeah, a really nice setup here with these Adepts. The Lings are going to come in. Oh my god, the transfuses are actually great from DRG. He cancels the Evo chamber. He's going to let the rest of these Lings come in here. The Adepts are going to be able to shade over here to the third base, still doing some damage. He's going to stasis and just stun at least 1 drone.
He's going for the natural expansion too. DRG's multitasking is really good right now. Hero's trying to set up these traps where DRG is taxed a little bit too much in terms of APM, but DRG's been doing a really good job of dealing with it. And while Hero's push did get a lot of mineral trade done effectively in terms of killing queens, in terms of killing lings, and setting DRG back in that way, I don't think he really got the drone damage that he needs, but he actually recharged. He made even more Adept Stageless. He's going to come in with 15. Behind it, powering up with 2 Forge, Blink, and Immortal production. Oh, this Stasis is actually catching a lot of drones, too. I think DRG was perhaps surprised by all these Adepts coming in. The Roaches, the split isn't quite there for DRG. These Adepts going to get a lot of damage done on the natural expansion, and with the Roaches coming in from the third, that means that the main base also is going to be in trouble. Stasis getting triggered over there, too. These drones are going to fall. And Hero, although he didn't get the damage done that he wanted in the first attack, he's getting so much more with his second wave. And keep in mind, this is not an all-in. He's building on the back of this, back at home, and he even has enough to take down these Roaches. Instead, just going to recall, play it safe. That's quite scary here for DRG. Hero's been able to take a worker lead. He's expanding to the 4th base as the gold. He's on 2 Forge, getting ready to start +1 ground attack as well as ground armor. And if Hero rides this momentum in the mid-game with a ton of Blink Stalkers, Immortals, and this Warp Prism, keep in mind, he still has all these Adepts. This is scary for DRG. Those Adepts didn't even get traded out. There's 9 of them.
It's going to be a 1-2 punch, to be honest. He could just come in here and clean them out. DRG is stabilized. He's getting his attack missile upgrade. But, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where Hero's like the only guy that can do this. He can almost outgrow the Zerg while harassing him. I'm surprised we don't have more Protosses that either try to emulate this and fail or just emulate this and do it. But the way he makes it work, it looks so good. So this push is going to come out here. The Adepts can get the Zerg out of position if the Zerg isn't careful. So he'll cancel this, but he might look for one more opportunity. But now he's got the Stalkers with the Blink. He has the Oracles here to cover from Lings. He's got an Immortal in the back to just kind of slowly chip away at the big block of roaches that's out here.
Yeah, these Adepts are doing such a good job of forcing those units back. Actually going to allow the Shade to finish as he's just focusing his energy here on the third. And that means that DRG is going to have to section off the roaches again to the natural expansion. And there's enough here for Hero that he can blink on top of the remaining forces. The roaches, the meat shield is gone. And Hero just reset Tasteless a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, beautifully done. I do think we got to commend DRG for the early part of that. Excuse me, the early part of that game.
Yeah, he got caught really off guard.
Yeah. He did a decent job holding, but yeah, the follow-up. Once you see like Hero's base finishing before the Zerg's 4th base is finished and their Stalkers moving around, it's going to be trouble. But I've never quite seen Hero with that delayed Adept setup into then the kind of Stalker blink harass.
I think it plays really well with his specific style of PvZ because he's not going to commit super hard with it. He's very good at controlling units like those Adepts and just knowing exactly when to take engagements and when not to. I mean, the Adept control was perfect in that situation. The Glaives, he never missed shaded. Even going into the natural expansion, and that final attack was the perfect move to pull the roaches away. I mean, it takes a certain kind of madness to play PvZ like Hero does, but he's making it work, and now he's one map win away from fighting Dark in the final match. Will he advance or will DRG fight back? Game number 2 starting now.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now. Let's
Okay, in the bottom right, in the blue, DRG over here. Oh, I almost did my old GSL opening. I was waiting for that name to come up. What's going on with me?
I was enjoying
Sometimes I'm running on old software, guys. Sorry.
The suspense was building. I was like, who is it,
I'm
Tasteless?
Like,
Who is in the bottom right?
Like, oh, the GSL,
is it Fruit Dealer?
The GSL voice is back one more time, guys.
Is Nesty back? Who could this Zerg be?
He sent a probe out early, but didn't block that. 2 Protoss to semifinals? Yeah, I mean, it could absolutely happen.
It's absolutely
I think
possible.
it's actually meant to be.
I told you when we came into GSL today, I was like, I think we might have 2 Protoss players advancing.
I want to have a top 4 with no Zergs. Take that, a third of all StarCraft players watching. Yeah, that's right. We've had enough Zergs in Final Fours. Let's have Protosses and Terrans. Wouldn't the StarCraft universe have just been better if there was no Zerg and it was just Protoss? It would have just been like the Predator movie, right?
What is this like? What is this like? Artosis streaming brewer level of racing going on right now? Honestly, after some of the TVZ games that we've had over the course of the last couple of GSLs, I wouldn't mind a little bit of a break from TVZ.
You know what? I'm just gonna say the Predator movies are better than the Alien movies. How about that, guys? Really make everybody mad. The best Predator movie? Oh, Aliens vs. Predator.
I would like
Those
a
are actually the
PvZ. I would like a PvZ top 4. That would be fun.
Yeah,
but Korean Terrans are just too good. Maru and Kira, it feels like. Is this? I might be throwing myself under the bus. I feel like it's 4 out of 5 GSLs in like the last 2 years that it's been Maru and Kira in the top 4 every single time.
Well, basically, yeah. I mean,
Maru's won 4 of them. Right?
Yeah, there's a period where Maru won a bunch of GSLs, and we're like, wow, can he keep doing it? And then he just won 3 or 4 more in a row, and we're like, okay, yeah, he can.
Maru, stop. Let somebody else win.
Right. That's enough, Maru.
Like somebody needs to take away the toys.
What is it with StarCraft tournaments and eventually a Terran player dominating too hard?
Yeah.
By the way, Flash is back.
Yeah, Flash is back. I saw
Although
that
he's
news.
not made any official announcement, but he is laddering, but that's interesting. So we've got the Stargate here. In what looks to be a PvZ similar to the many that we've casted so far.
Yeah. I like Hero's wall in this time. It's a very pretty wall. Gemini would approve of that wall.
Yes.
He wouldn't like the pylon in the front, but he would accept it.
Yeah, he would.
It's better than Hero's typical
well,
wall.
Hero's absolutely. Isn't that funny that he's messed up his wall in so many times?
Yeah. All right, Oracle opening here for Hero. Not going to be going into the Phoenix to Oracle, as he did in the previous game, and we'll see exactly how he's going to take it from here. Sitting in that Adept, gets the scout. Oh, actually, that's a mistake, I think. Let the Shade finish. He's going to try and trade it out for at least 1 drone. We'll get 1.
Yeah,
Can he get the second one?
Whoop, no.
And I do believe that was a mistake there from Hero. If you lose the Adepts early on in PvZ, it actually hurts quite a bit because more often than not, that means that if you are going for 2 or 3 Oracles, your Oracle has to stay at home in case there's a Ling Flood.
Yeah, he's going to get a Void Ray. maybe he was going to get that no matter what. Did he just? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he canceled blink speed for a second. I'm like, no, that's not a thing you ever cancel.
He attacks the spawning pool like Dark and DRG killed there as a Baneling Nests earlier on. He's like, I'm only going to make roaches now. All right, Oracle coming in. No Spore Crawler, just 2 queens, so he should be able to get at least 3 drone kills, and indeed he does. There's another drone waiting very sadly there at the 3rd base. I feel like Hero almost took pity on that drone and wasn't even mining minerals.
Yeah.
I'll let this one
Spare
live.
him.
Oh, and it's a really fast Evo chamber. Is this going to be for +1 melee?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, it will. This is kind of an older approach to ZVP. That
this
people,
feels like a throwback.
Yeah, this is... It reminds me of the way, maybe I'm reading too much into this faster evolution chamber timing, but you remember when Hero just kind of took the... Oh, he's going for it again, the delayed glaives. But you remember when Hero kind of took the world by storm with this rapid expansion, Blinkstalker-centric with Oracle PvZ style?
Yeah.
And the reason why he stopped doing it was because Zerg's figured out if you just lean really heavily into Lings with Fast +1 and Fast +2, you can actually kind of stomp it.
Yeah.
And the way the meta works is it kind of forced that style to be a little bit less popular. We still see Stalker Oracle play, but not to the same degree that we would back at Hero's heyday when he was winning a GSL again, right? So yeah, it is a little bit of a throwback to a couple of years ago, but it's just cool to see the meta kind of shift in a circular fashion like this. And Baneling's
Can he
also
actually get this
coming
drone?
in.
Oh!
Oh, that's the drone from before. That's the one that
That's
wasn't
not
mining.
fair. The drone got to blink into being an extractor. I saw it.
Now, how many more drones is JRG going to make? Oh, boy. Glaives get revealed again. There are no roaches, by the way, for DRG. He's only making 1 more drone, so he's going to go full on the Ling production.
Now,
he needs these Adepts, or he needs these Banelings to connect with the Adepts, because if it's just Lings, this game is basically over.
If the Banes don't get the kills, it's good. The Adepts are going to be too strong, especially behind minerals.
Oh, he might even be able to get a nice spread right now. He sees the Banelings morphing in here with the Void Ray. Let's see the split come through. Not Terran level, but it's still pretty good. It's good enough.
You're not a Terran player, but the idea's kind of there.
It's
like,
cute,
not bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice try.
So funny.
More gateways coming in back at home. Now, 5 Banelings still surviving here. DRG did a good job of walling off the natural expansion, so Hero was not able to commit into the main base. Even DRG realizing the severity of the situation, he's throwing down the macro hatch in the main base right now because he needs maximum larva in this kind of situation to deal with it. There are Banelings right on top of the shade, so Hero going to very wisely cancel. And he should be able to get the cancel also on this 4th hatchery coming in. Keep in mind, behind this, Hero is not really all in. He's adding additional gateways, very similar to the previous game. He's getting +1, he's getting Blink. He has a Robo with a Warp Prism coming through. And I feel like, as odd as it is, TRG's done a better job of defending than he did in the previous game, but I'm still not sure it's good enough because his word count now is being surpassed by Hero. He still doesn't have that strong of an army on the ground. If these armies clash as it is right now, Hero is still winning this with the adept counts that he has.
And behind this, we're going to get the unit comp that we saw in the previous game, the Immortal, along with a bunch of Stalkers, some Oracles to cover it. So, I mean, you know, we can follow these Adepts for the time being, but you got to remember it's that 1-2 punch we were talking about.
Yeah, and DRG is in a really awkward position where he kind of is going to be feeling like he needs to drone very soon. But Hero, he hasn't even started the 4th base yet. He might kind of throw one down, but if he does, it's basically a feint. He is committing very hard to this 3-base timing push. He's been on 60 probes for the longest time. He's only making army back at home. He has a ton of gateways finishing up. DRG cannot really drone right now, but it's an awkward position because he also doesn't have anti-air. So he just went for a round of 10 drones because he felt like he couldn't move out on the map due to the Oracles.
Yeah.
But now he has this push breathing down his neck. I don't know if he's going to be able to stop this, Taste. This
I don't
is a
know.
huge push.
He doesn't have any sentries, but I don't think it matters. I mean, I think the idea is you just kind of blink, get damage, and then push back in. He's going to send the Adepts in. I don't think there's anything that can cover that. So that's going to be in the main now, just destroying drones.
Yeah, Adepts going all the way into the
Immortal.
main base. The Immortal is going to fall as I think Hero is microing these Adepts.
Oh, my God.
Sees the Macro Hatchery even, and with good Blinkstalker control, not too much going down here in the center of the map. The Adepts shaded to the natural, get 7 more drones. Mining has been almost completely disrupted here for DRG in the main base and the natural expansion. The Adepts now shading into the 3rd as the Stalkers are overpowering in the center. Blink forward, and I think Hero's going to that final match.
All right, GG, Hero takes it, and that means we've got an excellent match to close the evening up. It's going to be Hero versus Dark.
Yeah, and a rough series there for DRG.
You know, Hero is just better. Look, I mean, we kind of expected that result, and you can really see that, you know, Hero just seems to have this understanding of how to control the Zerg, inhibit their growth, and then come in and pound them.
In a really smart way of approaching this best of 3 series too, doing basically the same build twice in a row, where we're all wondering what Hero's going to do next in game number 2 on Site Delta because the map plays very differently. And instead, he just goes back to the same build. And DRG caught off guard the same way we were casting it. And that's going to be Hero going to that final match against Dark to decide who's going to go to the top 4.
Man, well, this is going to be a fun one. And I think this one's a lot. Okay, guys, actually, we're ready for that break. The final match in the round of 8 is coming up after this break, guys. See ya in a little bit.
This is not a drill. I'm about to go all out. I'm about to go hard. It's about to get real. I'm not playing around. I'm about to get hype. I'm getting pumped up. Gonna give it all tonight. I don't need no introduction. Get your seatbelt on. It's about to go down. I'm about to go ham. It's about to get lit. Bring me along. This is not a drill. Don't test me. You don't wanna see my fit. It's about to go down. It's about to get real. You better move out the way I'm about to hit. I'm about to go ham. It's about to get lit. Bring me along. This is not a drill. Don't test me. You don't wanna see my fit. All eyes on me, and I'm ready to blow. Believe it when I say it. It's about to get real, baby. Are you ready to go? Going crazy, yo. I'm about to pop bottles, get drunk, party with models. You better hold on tight. I'm taking over the world. It's about to go down tonight. Let me see you dance. Hit the ground, turn the music up. Yeah, we want it loud. Get both hands in the sky, wave left to right. Yeah, I got a little rocket in my sprite. Are you ready? It's about to blow. Are you ready to go? Now we never gonna stop. Gotta make it pop. It's about to get real crazy, real lit. Don't come around here if you can't handle it. I'm about to go ham. It's about to get lit. Bring me along. This is not a drill. Don't test me. You don't wanna see my fit. It's about to go down. It's about to get real. I'm about to go ham. It's about to get lit. Bring me along. This is not a drill. Don't test me. You don't wanna see my fit. It's about to go down. It's about to get real.
We're here to set it off. We're here to settle the score. We're here to take off. We ain't here ready for war. We don't care what you think. We didn't come here for peace. You better watch how you speak. You about to wake up the beast. Wake 'em up. Yeah. Beat on my chest, I'm giving my best. Stepping on all of your necks. Can't give it a rest when put to the test. You know that I am the threat. I love when you taunt me, that's gonna cost ya. I'm about to take out your roster. Look out, I'm coming to haunt you. Showing the whole world that you an imposter. We're here to set it off. We're here to settle the score. We're here to take off. We ain't here ready for war. We don't care what you think. We didn't come here for peace. You better watch how you speak. You about to wake up the beast. They say I'm crossing the line. Outside your box and I'm doing just fine. They say I'm out of my mind. I'm fueling the rage. It's growing with time. Beast out the cage. Do not engage. You know I cannot control it. Shooting it straight like a bullet. I know this my moment, so why can I cool it? Get out the way, better move it. Move it, move it. Pushing the limit, no cruising. Bring all you want, I'm not losing. Watch how I prove it. I need to let it go. Beast out the cage, I'm an animal. We're here to set it off. We're here to settle the score. We're here to take off. We ain't here ready for war. We don't care what you think. We didn't come here for peace. You better watch how you speak. You about to wake up the beast.
Tell me if you do or die in another paradise. Our bodies doing time. Tell me if you wanna bite. Getting weaker and weaker, falling deeper and deeper. I know it's right. We're not hiding our feelings. When we're in it, we're in it. I know it's right. Taste on my lips, do you wanna sit? Getting high. Feel fingertips, never losing grip. Never cry. Getting weaker and weaker, falling deeper and deeper. I know it's right. We're not hiding our feelings. When we're in it, we're in it. I know it's right. Tell me if you do or die in another paradise. Our bodies doing time. Tell me if you wanna bite. Getting weaker and weaker, falling deeper and deeper. I know it's right. We're not hiding our feelings. When we're in it, we're in it. I know it's right. Taste on my lips, do you wanna sit? Getting high. Feel fingertips, never losing grip.
All right, guys, we've got a great match coming up here. And I think no matter who comes out with a victory, it's going to make for a great round 4.
I almost can't believe that it's going to be Hero versus Dark in the final match to advance from Group B. One of these players is getting knocked out here in the round of 8. One of them is going to advance to fight Cure in the semifinals next week on Saturday. We already had Creator advance from this group, so 2 Protoss, or not 2 Protoss, 2 Terran, 1 Protoss, and 1 player
Protoss.
TBD. It might be 2 Protoss by the end of this one. I gotta say, Hero was looking really good in that PBZ, and I think the mind games here are going to be kind of crazy because for a very long time, I mean, Hero and Dark are both 2 players that battled it out in pretty much every single online cup. ESL Open Cups, they'll play a ton of them. The KSL, they'll play a ton of them. Any kind of online tournament for a prize, these guys are fighting, and they're usually meeting in the finals of these things. So they have been inside each other's brains for what feels like months, if not years, with how many games they played against each other. The mind games in this series should be off the charts. One of these players going to advance into the finals, Hero or Dark. Let's decide who it's going to be.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now. Let's
Okay, Hero in the top right, Dark in the bottom left.
And for Hero also to play that series against DRG and effectively use the same build twice, it's kind of good here against Dark that he's not going to be really playing his hand, you know?
Yeah, well, I think Hero, this is like when you have someone who is, you know, worthy of a GSL win, is they have to approach opponents in a tournament where everything's public. Dark, you are my hero. Dark is my hero.
These guys are best friends!
Guys,
Go
you guys,
sit next to each other!
Oh my god, it's like you guys wear the same dress to prom. This is crazy. The same sign? Meanwhile, I feel like I'm trying to prove to the audience I can read any sign with 5 words in it. Like,
look at this, online, 199 games for Hero, 151 for Dark. I was not kidding. These guys
Yeah,
play
that's
in
a
like
lot.
every single online cup against each other. It is insane. That is a crazy amount of games. That's even beyond what I thought. 350 games
I saw
online.
that number and I'm like, that's too much. We shouldn't show that number. Like, it's
350
crazy.
games?
Yeah.
My God. That is so much StarCraft just in tournaments, just online.
It's crazy. Well, this is what happens when you have a game that's out for this long. You know, RTS games, they do age like a fine wine. Like if you go back and watch the first season of GSL, and you just see it's like monkeys banging rocks together trying to get build orders out.
You watching at home could also have been a GSL champion if you had a time machine.
No, I've literally thought about this. This is how much of a nerd I am. I'm like, sometimes I'll be watching like old like StarCraft 2 or StarCraft 1 matches, and I'm like, I could have just, if I went back in time, I could have like won everything and then switched right into casting. I would have been like the undisputed best. I would have won like, you know, the first 4 seasons and then just switched with all my caster abilities to be like, oh, this guy's just like the greatest at everything.
We'd be talking about, why is Tasteless #2 on the GOAT list instead of Mario?
Yeah, that's right.
What?
What's going on? How could you count Tasteless? If he wasn't so good at casting, he would have just kept winning.
By the way, the build coming in from Hero, pretty cool. Already mixing things up. He went for the gas first instead of the gate gas. And so his Stargate actually about 3 seconds ahead.
So I was going to say something before we had that funny moment where there was 2 of the same signs in the audience. Like,
yeah.
So I think that Hero approaches this in a way that is truly worthy of a player that can win at GSL. Not getting the block off, by the way. He basically did a very specific generic style versus DRG. I think we might see some alterations here versus Dark.
Already he's mixing it up basically to the maximum. I missed it early on because we were talking about something that probably wasn't important, like the signs.
Yeah.
I think that was core before Nexus for Hero because the probe was able to drop the pylon
I think so, yeah.
to block the hatchery at the 3rd of Zerg. And the Adept is there to make sure that the pylon does not get denied. And so Dark already getting some wrenches kind of thrown into his machine early on. Hero's pulling out all the stops. The gas first, the core before Nexus. Not even allowed the Shade to finish. Yeah, he does. Only 4 Zerglings, 4 more in production, so he's going to get at least a couple of drones. These 4 Lings alone cannot handle it. Oh, the Queens, I guess they can. There might be at least 1 more drone going down. I like this move from Hero. I mean, he's going for a lot of unexpected plays, and Dark even a little
Oh!
lazy. Got the third
What?
drone.
Okay. Void Ray coming, which always signals a third Nexus.
Yeah, third Nexus.
6 drones have been killed.
Yeah, the Oracle came in,
That's
too.
a little bit shocking.
I'm telling you, Hero's pulling out all the stops. Plus that Void Ray going to be able to assist that the third Nexus now. Nexus dropping a little bit later than usual. Closer to the 4-minute mark than 3:30, so Hero is going to be a touch behind in terms of economic pace, but the fact that he was able to trade out 2 Adepts and some Oracle HP for 6 drones this early on, plus denying the third base, making Dark build it at the 9 o'clock instead of right there at the triangle third where he wants it to be. Very good stuff coming out from Hero. He has a worker lead because of it. I love how much he is mixing it up. But this is the kind of thing, oh, this Oracle, you got to be careful. You know, if that triangle third base did not get denied, that Oracle probably dies right there to the Queen.
Yeah,
It probably gets
would
zoned
have
out.
flown into some kind of interference and been picked off. We've got the gateways down here, as well as the Citadel about to be planted. Let's see if maybe he does get the Adept upgrade. Maybe we actually just have the same style again, literally.
It's possible.
I was kind of declaring to everybody that he won't do that, and there's going to be some kind of a, like, here's the real build, but maybe not. Okay, so he does go for Blink.
Goes for Blink. But I
All
wouldn't
right.
even mind him going for the Adept build here against Dark because
Yeah,
it
well,
just wouldn't be something you expect him to do in the third game.
yeah, it's almost like it. So does it make sense that it works because the other player just discounts it?
Kind of the same way they did it in game number 2 versus DRG, where it's like DRG's like, surely you won't do that again. I'll just play Ling Bane. Almost preempting the Blink Stalkers, and instead it was just Glaives.
This is going to be the hero that we're used to seeing. You know, it's going to be Blinkstalker. Uh-oh. Nicely done.
Oh, careful with that Oracle!
Hold on. Okay.
Oh, he was microing here. Only going to get a couple of drones, though. I don't think that's really worth losing the Oracle, but you can really tell that Heroes is trying to throw as many curveballs at Dark as possible in this moment. These guys know each other so well from their online play that you see Hero take these risks and go for these plays that he probably wouldn't go for against a lot of other Zergs because he's just trying to mix it up so much. You play 300+ matches against somebody.
It's so
just
crazy.
in tournaments, just online.
Yeah.
You start to get a little bit crazy.
Okay, so we have the 5th base coming down here. Hero's getting his 4th. And I think, I mean, we don't have any, like, gateway walls like we've had in some games. I think some of that's map dependent, but we might coming up here.
Yeah,
sometimes he'll do, like, on his 4th base, like 3 gateways or, you know, however many it takes to fit. Kind of wall off that whole area.
Yeah, and Dark up until this point has just been playing on hatchery tech, going for +1 melee and a ton of lings. So he's basically throwing down the 5th base almost as a macro hatchery. He's only at 54 drones. He's playing this mass ling style right now against Hero, and that should scale quite well against the Blink Stalkers that Hero's trying to go for. He does not know there's 70 lings on the map. This could be bad if Hero overextends with these lings. Dark wants him to do it. I mean, even with Oracles, these Stalkers could potentially go down to 70 lings. All right, here comes Dark. That's a lot more lings than Hero's expecting. He's going to blink away once. Oracle's now coming in to assist. More Stalkers coming to reinforce, so they were able to skirt disaster.
Okay, Stasis Ward 1 is denied. The other one is actually triggered.
+1 melee is done for those lings, so they do pack
Yeah.
a bit of a punch. And
Yeah, they can. If they can corner those Stalkers, they will wreck them.
yeah, and Hero, in response to this mass ling style, he's going for Ro.8. But Dark, even though he delayed his lair for so long, he already finished his Infestation Pit.
Yeah.
He's going in a hive now at 7 minutes, 50 seconds
Oh.
after having, like, what, a 6-minute lair?
Okay, he's going to try to break in here. There's going to be some more lings to go for this Robo. You know, I'm sorry, there are 2 Robos or 1?
I think it's just the one here in the
So
front, if I'm not
that's
mistaken.
a really big catch. I mean, that's basically all of the late game tech here for Protoss.
If Hero throws down 2 more Robos, I'm going to be worried about him. And no, he instead is going for the Fleet Beacon. I like this a lot. If he had gone for the Robos, that would basically play into Dark's hand, going for this super fast hive tech, which is going to be probably mass Adrenal Lings with Vipers, which would absolutely destroy any kind of Robo-bait timing. But with Hero instead getting a Fleet Beacon, getting +1 air weapons, he's going to be playing a little bit more of a late game.
Yeah, he's just going to go for carriers here, which I think Zerg do have a really hard time against. If the, you know, it's kind of puts the Zerg in a position where they have to, like, do something. They don't just get to play turtle.
Yeah, but I'm a little bit worried with this Ling count ballooning as high as it is. Still 70 Lings on the map, even after trading out with those Zealots and Oracles. Once +2 and Adrenal finishes for Dark, it's going to be a pretty crazy amount of Lings. I mean, they're going to be able to level bases that are unprotected in the blink of an eye if Hero is not careful. And it's actually be Ultra. This is almost just playing like a ZVT build.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Oh, this is so cool.
9-minute Ultras here.
This looks like Cero playing ZVT against Mara right now is what this looks like.
But,
oh, what a cool style.
But for now, I mean, the gold base is being taken. We've got a Mothership coming out.
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
No doubt more carriers behind this.
But Tasteless, I'm thinking about the way this is going to go. There isn't going to be much anti-air here for Dark at all. But is it going to matter? Because I feel like there's going to be so much sustain in terms of hit points on the ground with the Lings and the Ultras for Dark that if Dark just decides to dive these expansions, oh God. Well, that's 5 probes gone. That could have been much worse.
Yeah.
That Nexus also, I don't think got canceled. It got killed.
Yeah.
But bear with me here. If Dark just decides to max out with Ultras in like 120 Lings, he might just be able to dive on these expansions and kill them faster than the carriers can clean them up.
Yeah, you might be right. The Lings make it a little bit harder to deal with because each one has to be targeted individually, right? That's why splash damage is so important against Zerglings. He's going to run in the main. He's going to see what's going on there. There's a lot more Lings hitting everywhere right now.
Oh, the Mothership's going to finish just in the nick of time to cloak these buildings in the main base, but more probes falling here at the 4th. Zealots did eventually clean that up. And once these 2 Ultras finish, oh, Dark's coming in again.
I mean, Dark has really got Hero on his back foot right now. I mean, this is kind of crazy how much damage is coming out.
I mean, I was telling you earlier, these kind of Lings with +2 and with Adrenal, they level bases so quickly. So much static defense is getting taken out. Even the Cybernetics Core falling here for Hero. Oh, okay, I mean, so many more Lings.
Dude, when does this end, by the way?
Like, I think it
feels like Hero gets tripped up like once, and now Dark is just finding opportunities endlessly.
There is a world where Hero is able to max and stabilize on Skytoss, and Dark just does not have an answer for it, which we might be getting to now that Hero is maxed, or very close to it. But the counterattacks here, this is basically Dark's MO, is just keep counterattacking. Oh, he gets the Templar before they can even morph into the Archon there in the natural expansion. But keep in mind, Dark is a little bit on the clock in terms of how he's going to deal with this Protoss army. There still is really no anti-air besides the Queens. It's just Lings and Ultras coming out for Dark. He just has to keep attacking into the Protoss. Oh, even burrowing here in the natural expansion, just causing problems everywhere he can. And now this 4th base is going to get hit. The Skytoss fleet is coming in. Cloak probably going to pop, I hope. Although instead the Lings are just going to try and run away.
Dude, this just is never ending. Now up to 23 kills.
I mean, the big issue here for Hero is that, like, cannons don't even really deal with this that well because they get leveled by the Lings so quickly. There are no shield upgrades, I think, here for Protoss, so...
Oh my gosh, he's going to have to tag that area. And meanwhile, oh my God, he's going to kill even more.
I mean, the counterattacks
I'm not saying the game's going to end
so
right
crazy
here, but it's hard just to envision a situation where, like, you know, Hero recovers and pushes out and kills a Zerg. It feels like we're so far away from that.
I can't believe it didn't cloak.
I know.
I mean, there is a world where Hero is able to amass a fleet of carriers and move across the map and just kill Dark. And I think Hero recognizes that he can't just stay on his side of the map and absorb blows like this. He has to make a move. Because if he lets Dark just continue to counterattack like this, it's basically game over. But the problem is with these Ultras, the Archons alone just do not do enough. I mean, maybe they do when it's just 4 Ultras fighting into a choke point like this because Ultras are the worst at.
Yeah, in a true, like, Zerg harass fashion, he just keeps hitting all these different locations. This Nexus can't even be remade. This is like 3 base versus Zerg having almost the entire side of the map.
Hero's on 16 probes. He has to go. He just has to go.
Yeah.
The anti-air for Dark is basically, I think, Neural Parasite Infestors and Queens.
Yeah.
I think that's effectively what he has to deal with.
He's going back.
I mean, it's such a tough position here.
Just keep counterattacking. Oh yeah, he's like, finish what I started.
Honestly, this base falling, it doesn't really matter even here for Hero. He's at 16 probes. He is all in.
He can't even mine fully from each of these bases. All right, well, this counterattack should be held. It would be the craziest thing that's ever happened in the history of the universe if it was not held.
I think Dark's win condition right now is not even to try and survive against this counter push. It's to win in a base trade.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Hero against Hero.
There are no other structures hidden on the map, by the way.
So I wonder how much of the Sky Toss is going back to defend. Does Hero realize the situation? Oh, look at this. Infester is casting this ability. Oh, with Fungal here on the Interceptors too,
Oh
pairing
my
with the
God.
Queens. This is kind of insane.
Yeah, maybe you can just chain Fungal the Interceptors? I don't know. He's going to go right under these
Oh, the Shroud
carriers.
coming in. How often do we see this?
I know, this is crazy.
Microbial Shroud actually getting used to really stunning effect here. Now, the Mothership with the Stalkers is able to mitigate some of the damage here. You got to activate Overcharge. Okay, he does it the natural. Hopefully there's Cloak here as well. There's no Cloak needed here with Battery Overcharge. And the Shroud, I mean, the Queens are standing against the carriers with just their Carapace. This is insane. I've never seen Queens with Microbial Shroud win in a situation like this against 5 carriers.
Yeah.
I mean, this is basically the win condition here for Hero because there's no anti-air for Dark, but Dark says it doesn't matter. I have Queens. I have 10 Queens. I'm building 5 more at a time.
Meanwhile, barely anything functioning back at home. He would need to win the game with these 5 carriers right now, and I don't think it's going to happen.
This is insane.
It's just
I
a
thought
bunch
there
of-
was no world Dark was going to be able to hold with just Queens and Infestors, but with Microbial Shroud and Fungal paired
Oh
up.
my God, that's going to be a GG. Dark takes game 1.
What an insane late game PvZ.
You know, it's
from
funny.
Dark.
It's like there's one crack in the defense, and suddenly everything starts to spill through. The game completely blew up in Hero's face. Again, nothing really premeditated by Dark. He just saw an opening and went, oh, okay, and ran in, and then just every follow-up attack took him down another peg until eventually Hero literally had not even a functioning economy. Like, what, 16 probes?
We're talking about mind games, and Hero certainly brought them there in the early game, but what a build selection from Dark. He went for the lair, I think, at like the 5:30 or 6-minute mark on that map.
Yeah, it's funny, too, because we were talking about Ultralisks, and it's like, well, they can't hit air. I mean,
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, because they also can't clean up the ground in time either.
All right, there's just enough HP on the ground and enough DPS that Hero can't make static defense, and if he doesn't stabilize, Dark just wins the base trade game.
Right.
What an absolutely wild game number 1. Dark is now 1 map win from advancing to the semifinals. Hero 1 map loss away from getting knocked out. He's got to fight for his life here on Site Delta. Let's go into game number 2.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now. Let's
All right, Hero for Weibo Gaming. Spawning in the bottom right is the blue Protoss. Dark for Talon. Spawning in the top
Dark
left.
esports, different from light esports. Like, this is...
That game 1 is going to be hard to follow for these guys. That was insane.
That was a one-of-a-kind game. I mean, again, it just shows that Dark, he's kind of playing a standard game, and then there's some mistake that's happening, and he just comes in there and slashes Hero down. I've never really seen Hero get beaten up on like that in PvZ.
Yeah, that was a very peculiar build. It's one that, I mean, we occasionally see stuff like that sometimes, but not really in the Korean ZVP meta.
Right.
Certainly not at the pro level. It's something you might see in like mid-GM, this like really fast Adrenal +2 links flood, but the fact that Dark was able to make it work against Hero was so cool. I mean, there were so many games that, I believe it was Serald who brought it out in the finals against Mario at ESL SG Masters, where he went for this really fast Ultralisk build and was just able to ride the Ultra's armor through the mid game when Terran basically just has Marines and get huge value done. And Dark effectively did the same build here against Hero. Of course, it's a little bit different here in ZVP, but the end goal is the same. He got +2 melee links with Adrenal and Ultras out so quick, was able to play the base trade game. And Hero just never stabilized. He had such a hard time stabilizing, and he did get derailed a little bit, losing the Robo like that to the Lings early on, but honestly, Tasteless, even if the Robo had finished with the Robo Bay, and he goes for Colossus, do you really want that in a situation where Dark went for, what was it, like a 9-minute hive? 8-minute hive? Something crazy like that. I mean, the Vipers would be so quick, and you know Dark would have gone into the Vipers had Robo.8 units come out there for Hero. Just a very interesting game, number one. I would love to go back into that replay and just break it down. I mean,
just a little subtle thing I want to point out in PVCs, because we've had a couple of them today so far. I feel like you should just store your Robotech at your natural, not at the third. Like that punish changed the trajectory of the whole game. No, I'm not saying the carriers wouldn't have been made, but it was like he had no other choice after that.
He got set too far back.
Yeah. And, I mean, you know, the third base, especially on that map, is always going to be hit for counterattacks. Like, that's kind of the you know, the weak point for that position. And so the fact that he just hits it over and over again, it's like, well, yeah, you're putting – it's already bad enough you have workers there, right? That they're so vulnerable. Then they're going to see this nice, juicy tech as the workers flee.
Still just a really wild PvZ from start to finish. I love the tricks that Hero came up with there in the early game, and then the way Dark's build developed in the mid game, even though he was basically on a worker deficit compared to Hero for a good portion of that, was just so cool. It's such a treat to have these guys battle it out for the last spot in the semifinals, because you know they're going to give everything they have in this matchup to win this best of 3. It's only a best of 3, but there is so much on the line.
So we're going to have this drone transfer. Slow game to start this out. Oracles again, kind of in line with our whole theme today. Void Ray, a very quick third Nexus before the Void Ray's even out to cover it.
Yeah, a little bit faster than it was there in the previous game, but of course Hero is going for a different build. And
right.
Dark, once again, just on point with a clean positioning so far today. I feel like the Oracles have really gotten big damage only once against Dark so far. Now 3 more gateways coming in. And an Adept getting warped in, Tasteless. This might be the same build that he used against DRG. I wonder if this is going to be Glaives or just 6 Adepts paired with the Oracles. I feel like with a Void, it's probably going to be Glaives because he's trying to deny the scouting. To wait and see. Yeah, Glaives get started.
This is more than you normally expect from a Void Ray.
Yeah, 2 Overlord kills is quite nice.
Yeah, so there's those Glaives upgrade. Let's remember that we did see Dark actually lose to timings from Creator too, which is kind of remarkable. So maybe he's going to be a little bit squishier in this game than others.
Oh, he's going for Banelings quite early here against the Glaives.
Ooh, now this does shut down Glaives.
Yeah, I mean, DRG attempted this previously against the Glaives, but was not able to pull it off. Dark is doing it in a much better fashion so far. His drone count is higher in the stage in the game where it will pay off. And I feel like the +1 might even be a little bit faster here for Dark. I'm not sure if it's going to finish in time to make a big difference in the initial fight, but should Dark be able to survive the first wave, that +1 is going to help the Lings trade very much so against these Adepts. And here come the 13 Adepts again. 10 seconds left on Glaives. This is really Hero's window to get damage done. No Banelings, I don't think, have morphed in just yet. And only now is Dark realizing the severity of the situation. He has 40 Lings, a good number of Queens. Adepts are actually just going to shade right on top of these Queens. Oh, one of them so close to getting focused down.
Oh my god, the surround is pretty good. He's going to thin out a little bit. He might have to cancel up here.
Wait, where are those Banelings morphing in? Okay, the Adept shade gets canceled. Instead he goes to the third base. That's really smart. I think Dark was actually morphing in. Banelings getting ready to absorb the impact there between the natural and the main base.
Yeah, there's no way he can go there. He's going to have to get pushed out.
Hero's doing a really good job of controlling against these Banelings, just avoiding them. And Dark, I think he's just caught a little bit with his pants down against this because he didn't have the Banelings ready in time. And as a result, Hero's just been kind of able to pull him apart. It doesn't seem like substantial damage, but it really is. Dark is right now at 50 drones, the 62 workers of Hero, who is continuing to build behind this with Blink, with +1 coming in. Adepts do not get canceled, instead going for the fourth base. Oh, the Banelings coming to the third.
I don't think he's looking. I don't think he's watching.
Oh, huge hit.
Yeah, 9 kills. Now the hatchery goes down. That's big as well. But at the same time, so do all the Adepts.
Yeah, I don't know if that trade is worth it after losing all of those probes. The worker count's basically equalized.
And the counter punch is inbound here.
Yeah, and it's only Stalkers now left for Hero. He traded out all of those Adepts, which means there isn't much to deal with the Lings. Oh, this might be a little bit too much. The one Stalker here in the wall in.
It barely plugs that wall in up.
Oh, if they take on the shield battery, I don't know how Hero's going to be able to hold on.
Well, the walling is pretty good.
It's scary, though, with only one
Oh, never mind.
Oracle.
He's going to take out the pylon at the entrance.
Yeah, he's trying to whittle that down, but there's not enough surface area here on the Ling. Start continuing the attack. He's still at 49 drones. He's committing so much. The Banelings pop that pylon. Floodgates have opened in. Hero made one more Oracle to try and stem the tide here.
Yeah, and reminiscent of game 1, it's kind of the same concept. He's already out-positioned Hero. Now Hero's trying to scramble to just put out all these fires. More Lings are going to come in here and continue to punish.
But Hero's doing a really good job of stabilizing so far. It's kind of miraculous how well he's defending against this. It felt like Dark had so much momentum behind him after cleaning up all of those Adepts, but instead Hero, he does lose 18 probes, but it's not game-ending damage. The word count's dead even right now between Hero and Dark.
Okay, another Ling run by. Oh, he's going to pull back. Good blink in here. Hero's starting to stabilize. Worker count is basically even, by the way.
Yeah, Hero sustained a lot of damage, but it's playable from here. The word counts are basically even. Somehow, after all of that pressure with the Adepts and then the counterpunch coming in with the Ling bailing, we've equalized here. I think Hero's going to be very happy flying these Oracles into the 4th base and seeing basically no drones. It should confirm his intuition that there isn't much economy here for Dark on the map. And Dark now going into Ling, Bane, Hydra on 58 drones. No more drones in production, so this will be a timing attack. Hero has to be very careful not to overcommit into this.
Okay, the push is going to come out. He's got to be very careful with how he executes this. The Hydras are going to make it a lot more complicated to get any real damage out here. He's going to lay a stasis ward back. The Stalker count seems like it just might be enough, and the surface area for the Hydras and the Queens is just, just out of range. Oh my God, that was so perfectly executed by Hero. I cannot believe it. Dude, hold on a second. Is he going to start to win with this push?
He might be. There isn't that much DPS left here for Dark. Okay, more Hydras reinforcing, but if the Lings go down, there might not be enough to tank for them. Should the Stalkers just connect straight on with the Hydras? With Blink, you're able to trade them out really effectively here as Protoss. But Stasis running out means that Hero will have to back off. Oh, loses one Oracle, almost loses the second one too. I don't know if he can full send this.
Yeah,
it's getting really close.
He might have to walk it back. He is going to double down, though. He's got a pylon just in range over here.
Another Stasis trap. Warping in there in the back. That Oracle has to be so careful not to get picked off by these +1 range Hydras.
You can see the tactics kind of pan out here as the Stasis ward is just planted back so that as the Baneling would have connected, instead gets trapped inside of that. But there's more Lings being made. I mean, the Hydra count isn't actually getting that much lower. Stalker counts are getting higher and higher. A couple Zealots are going to join in here. These Lings are about to no longer be frozen.
The Zealots, despite not having that many upgrades, are still really good here against the Lings. The fact they're able to 2-shot them instead of 3 helps a lot with that +1. And the Stalker count starting to get really large here, Tasteless.
It's a bit like it's kind of like an arm wrestling match almost. Like it seems like it's so close. I think over time, if the Stalker count gets any higher, and we don't see a bunch of Stalkers picked off here, these Hydras are going to get whittled down.
Yeah, the main issue for Dark right now is he just doesn't have enough HP in the front of this army. Once the Lings fall, then the Hydras sustain too much damage, and just with the Hydras, you're not able to really kill the Stalkers. They will blink back.
Yeah, the Banelings are just making it so that the Stalkers can't blink right into this. Instead, he has to do defensive blinks. But yeah, you can see over time this sort of chews away at the hit points. He's going to tear down these rocks. He might have wanted to do this earlier because he needs a bigger berth to try to enter into here.
Yeah, the Stalker count's gotten high enough that it makes sense to try and expand the concave here attacking into this 4th base. More stasis traps getting planted. Oracle's gaining an energy. With a big blink back coming in from Hero, and Dark's army just continuously gets shaved down.
Okay, the Zealots are going to come in here to tank.
Oh, no more
This
Banelings
could
left.
be the tipping point.
Oh,
he blinks
boy.
in, but there's some Banes. Was that an overextension? No, I don't think so. I think Hero's actually done it.
Maybe. The drone's getting pulled or absorbing a lot of the DPS. They're providing the front line here for the Hydras. That means the Stalkers do have to warp in all the way to the back. Oh, the stasis is huge. It catches so much of Dark's army. 4 Hydras and a ton of Lings getting picked off. If Dark had that army here fighting in, I think Hero might have been pushed back, but instead he can blink forward, Tasteless.
Yeah, some more Zealots are going to be warped in here. The Hydra count is so low, these units are about to be unfrozen.
Dark probably going to re-engage as soon as these units pop out of stasis, and I feel like Hero might have lost a little bit too much momentum.
Oh my God, the drones actually did their job. they just soaked enough damage that it allowed Dark to try to fight back.
Yeah, and at this stage, Hero, that natural expansion, the main base, they're starting to run out of minerals. It's really only the third base that's mining effectively, whereas Dark has this fourth over at the 12 o'clock position.
Yeah, God, it was so close. I really thought Hero was going to take it.
I think the blink forward was just a little bit too ambitious.
Yeah,
It was so close, but the Banelings,
Yeah.
they finished morphing at the exact right time to stop that push.
Okay, he's going to blink away again.
Although Stutter Step Micro has to be really good here for Hero. Those Lings, they get the full surround right now.
Oh my God, so many Stalkers are falling.
Dark is so close to the semifinals, and
He's
Hero,
gonna-
the favorite to advance from Group D, might fall in a 2-0 here in the final match.
He's going to cut him off at the pass. More kills on these Stalkers. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know that Hero can recover from this.
Only 10 Stalkers left. He's re-expanding to the fourth, but Dark, he can just continue to pump the gas. There isn't going to be an answer for Hero to the Ling Hydra for a very long time. The Robo only just now finished. The Robo Bait only just now started. Colossus Tech maybe a minute and a half out. I don't know if Hero can survive until that stage. Tasteless, he's at 13 army supply. Dark is continuing to barrel down, and once he sets his eyes on this fourth base, that might be the end of Hero.
I mean, this counter push is going to be so powerful. Again, it's like Hero's basically stuck on Stalkers now, and he doesn't seem like he can ever quite get enough. He certainly won't be catching up now that he's lost this fourth base. Just as it finishes, by the way, no cancel. It's funny, sometimes Stalkers you can get just enough that they can never stop you, they can never overcome it, but sometimes you're just low enough that you can never catch up.
And this amount of speed Banelings coming in with a Ling Hydra should be enough to take Hero out of this game. Dark wants to go to the semifinals. The Robo goes down. The Stalkers are falling.
Wow.
GG is called, and Dark
GG.
is going to the top four in a group of upsets. Creator and Dark advance, and the favorite Hero is knocked out in the final match.
It was a great match. I mean, it's funny. I was literally calling it for Hero during the fight. I think you nailed it back there, State, with the blinking in just as Banelings finish. I think about 5 Stalkers took damage. It really is a moment where you're like doing this balancing act of having maybe one or two Stalkers too many for the Zerg to deal with. And I think he pulled the trigger on kind of getting the closer a little bit too fast.
It was unlucky a little bit for Hero because there was this timing where he saw the same thing that we saw on screen. There were no Banelings, it was just Hydras, there was a small number of Lings, and Hero just had a small swell of Zealots coming in, so he should have had enough front line to blink forward and win the game outright, but because Dark had those Banelings morph in just in the nick of time, instead, Hero got completely denied with that blink, and it was the end of him.
Yeah. I mean, that took it. I gotta say, man, kind of crazy Hero didn't advance. But instead, we've got Creator for the Protosses moving forward. Dark, again, this guy is always, I think, a fair bet for someone who could take a GSL. So let's see what happens, man. Of course, we've got Morrow, who's, you know, if you followed any GSL or any StarCraft 2, you know this guy is, you know, done something that no one's ever going to get close to, basically, in the history of StarCraft 2, winning so many GSLs.
Man, Dark coming in for another top 4 right after getting top 4 at ESLS 2 Masters in Dallas is just so good. I mean, the fact that this guy is a newborn and he's dominating StarCraft 2, absolute legend. Well, congratulations, Dark, on advancing into the round of 4. You know, last season, Dark, we didn't have any Zerg that deep in the tournament. And this tournament, you're the last one alive. You made it all the way to the semifinals. How are you feeling? Well, honestly, all the games today were very tough. And after Creator was able to take me out, I knew that I was going to play against Hero in that final match. So, in the back of my mind, I almost gave up on this season, but in the very end, I was able to collect myself and gather my thoughts, and I decided I would do my best against Hero, and I had nothing to lose, and I played my heart out. I won. Well, in that match against Hero, it went for some pretty crazy timing attacks, but you were really able to leverage the power of the Zergling to victory both in Game 1 and Game 2. Well, you know, after I lost the first series against Creator, I felt like my concept of ZVP was almost broken, and so up against here, I just decided to wing it and try something new, and it worked.
강영호 선수 그거 좀 알고 있었나요? 알고 있는데도 당한 건가요?
아, 진짜 너무너무 잘 알고 있었고요. 평소에 레더 할 때
Well, I felt like Hero didn't actually have that many tricks up his sleeve besides there in game number 1. He went to Adepts again there in game 2 against on Dark, and Dark says, yeah, honestly, that build has been pretty popular recently on the Korean ladder, so I felt like I had an answer to that opening, and I was able to execute it. Unfortunately, it didn't go as well as I was hoping, but I was still able to close it out. Well, in the semifinals, your opponent is not going to be Maru, it's actually going to be Cure. How are you feeling? Well, it feels okay. I mean, compared to Cure, I think, or compared to Maru, excuse me, I think Cure is a little bit of an easier opponent, but he's still one of the best Terran players in the world. I would have prepared my best to try and beat him. Well, Dark, do you have any words to your fans? What is your goal going into the semifinals? Well, you know, I heard that a lot of fans in the studio were cheering for me after my match, so I wanted to show them some good games, and I know a lot of fans also want to take photos and get an autograph. I promise you, I'll be here all night if you want an autograph, if you want a photo. I thank you guys so much for supporting me. They're asking now about his determinations for the finals. Well, he says, you know what? I am going to put everything I can into that finals. And did he even say he's going to shave his beard? Or not shave his beard? There's something about the beard. He might shave it.
Wait, production was, he's going to shave the beard?
That is insane. Oh, right, because he's going to the army. Right. That's right. That's why he's going to shave it.
You guys are only hearing half of our conversation.
Sorry, yeah,
our producer's saying that you can't have a beard in the army.
Yeah, for a second I thought he was going to do it.
Why can't you have a beard? Wait a minute. In the U.S.,
it's like joining the New York Yankees, man. You got to be clean shaven. You got to get the haircut.
Why could you not have a beard in the army? How
it's all about discipline. You gotta. It's some way for getting deep on this. You gotta.
But that's not true in the U.S. in the military, right? You can have a beard.
I don't know if that is still true. I think when you enlist, you lose the facial hair. I'm not sure if this is still true.
Huh.
I think you got to get the haircut, the facial hair, or at least it used to be that way. And I think part of it is you need to kind of lose your identity. These are things that people build their identity with, and they want to break it down. Anyway, Dark is going to shave.
Let's go back to the beard. This is not. Hey, quit messing around, State. We're talking about something important, all right? You're getting sidetracked.
The finals! Tickets go on sale tomorrow.
Yes.
5:30 p.m. They will sell out within 10 minutes, guaranteed. Do not miss it.
No, 5 minutes.
5
guaranteed,
minutes.
All right? No, 4 minutes.
3 minutes.
No. Quit messing around, all right? You're doing that thing again.
It's like a Key and Peele sketch. But yeah, honestly, guys, 5:30 p.m.
It's
refresh.
At the S-Plex Center. So that's not this studio. This also is like a thing that happens every finals. If people are like, I'm in Job Show, I can't find you guys. I'm in Samsung, and I'm like, no, we're not there.
And don't be that guy.
A part of town called Digital Media City. No, it's not another city outside of Seoul. It's just a place in Seoul, but it's called Digital Media City.
It's all the way in the northwest of Seoul. You can find the venue right there on screen.
There is a pop-up kind of StarCraft museum, as well as an esports museum in the building. Check it out. Show up early. Have a whole StarCraft day.
Yeah, the doors open at 4 p.m.
Yeah,
I would recommend getting there at least an hour early if you want to check out the museum on, what is it, the 11th floor?
It's the 11th floor.
And by the way, if you guys missed us talking about this in the pre-show, it is a pretty cool museum. They're actually, it's not just photos and like memorabilia. They're actually borrowing historic jerseys and trophies from players all across Korea.
Yes.
Maybe even across some of Asia. I'm not sure exactly the scale of it, but you know, Maru's trophies are going to be there. Some of his ancient jerseys might be there.
That's right.
You might get a waft of Maru's sweat from 10 years ago, and it might be able to propel you into being this StarCraft 2 gamer. Who knows? Who knows what magic all that memorabilia stores inside of it, but make sure you go. And on top of that, also, we're doing that cheer event.
Yeah, definitely sign up for that. That's what we were talking about right there at the bottom of the screen. So do check that out. Yeah, I'm excited for another finals, man.
It's going to be really fun, especially in this bigger stage. I mean, I love this venue, but anytime, as you said it multiple times before, when we move the GSL finals to a bigger stage, It just feels more dramatic.
It just, I don't know.
It's
I mean,
cool. I like
even,
the change of
even for
scenery.
us, I'm like, cool. We're in like a new place doing finals, and I think Africa TV Soup, excuse me, puts on an amazing finals. It's going to take me a while to get used to that.
A little bit of something for everybody too. We got 2 Terrans, a Protoss, and a Zerg.
You have no excuse to not be there.
Creator surprising as well, coming out
Yeah.
first place
What
today.
if he
Looked
wins?
fantastic.
What if this is the run?
That would be so cool.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us. We love you. We will see you on Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, and tickets go on sale at 5:30 p.m., right?
Yeah, 5:30.
All right,
See you
bye-bye.
guys.
Incoming transmission.